$2 in my pocket and a dream in my hand, digging through old purses for some change again. Window shopping like it's therapy, garbage picking for treasures is the life I lead. Wi-Fi is out, electric bill is late, ain't no dinner, just paper plates, living off the pantry and dollar store canned food, which is fine, I still look good, I still shine. I'm a broke bitch, I cannot go too far because you know I can't afford it anyway. I cannot rely on my own damn money, I'm so broke, it ain't done funny. Yeah, I'm a broke bitch who can barely walk today, but who's bitching? Dreaming in my claustrophobic kitchen, a plant-based faux chicken. Hey, listen, my rent is due, but I'm out with a friend, buying one coffee just to try and blend in. Fake it till I make it, I swear I try manifesting cash with my third eye. Swipe decline, but my hopes stay high. Living on vibes in a thrift store high. I cannot fly first class or any class, but I fly free. I can hardly walk to bed, but nobody's got more hustle than me. I am a broke bitch, I cannot go too far because you know I can't afford it anyway. I cannot rely on my own damn money, I'm so broke, it ain't darn funny. I'm a broke bitch without any money. Lay on my couch, dreaming, it doubles as a bed, which just ain't sunny. What can I say, going through the struggle every day. One day maybe I will have cash in my hands, but till then I am taking a stand. You can't buy pride, you can't buy grit. I own my struggle, I own my shit. I'm a broke bitch, I cannot go too far because you know I can't afford it anyway. I cannot rely on my own damn money, I'm so broke, it ain't done funny. I'm broke bitch, oh I got the money, who cares anyway. I am sick and tired and old too, but I still got dreams, still got skills, and maybe, just maybe one day I'll be able to pay those bills. Yeah, I'm a broke bitch, what of it anyway? Ooh, ooh, yeah, I'm a broke bitch, what of it anyway?
Hello and welcome in, everyone. Today we're going to be interviewing Trucker John. And if you don't know who John is, don't dismay, you're going to get to meet him today. His channel link is pinned in the comments of the live chat and will also be in the description. We invited John today to talk about paranormal, but normally on his channel he talks politics. Mostly he reads our chat and answers you. So if you like to jibbity jab on live streams, check John out, because one minute it will be politics and the next sports. However, today in this chat, we'll be asking John about his paranormal experiences, especially his UFO encounters. So, without further ado, let's get right into today's live stream. Hello, and here we are. I hope you guys can hear me. Um, I did that great intro for John, and John is, uh, I don't know, late. He's a little late, I think. And I hope he figured out. Well, I checked the link just to make sure. And you can go straight from the link I sent him to this live stream as a guest. So, I know that the Dodgers, because I checked, were yeah, he might have been abducted by the aliens. I think the Dodgers are like in the sixth um inning with no score yet. So, you know. Was the intro not nice? Yes, I made it last night with the pictures and everything. I thought it was funny. I thought it was funny. So, yeah. Yippee! So, yeah, I'm assuming should be here any second. But until then, oh, the Phillies scored now, Jolie. Oh, I'm setting up. I'll be there in a few minutes. There you go. See, there's John. I love the intro. Yeah, maybe we'll play it for him if he missed it again. While John is setting up, for all you new folks, I'll just tell you a little bit about my channel. I started off doing paranormal with my son because he was seeing and hearing things that, you know, the teacher said was crazy and they tried to commit him. And I realized, because I think outside the box, unlike most people, he's not crazy. He's seeing ghosts. So I took him on a ghost hunt. I showed him the footage back that him and I both filmed together, and he was like, "Whoa, yeah, that's the kind of things I'm seeing." He's like, "Oh, okay, so it's just ghosts." And he was fine after that. Never had a problem, didn't have to commit him. He was fine. I wasn't. I was like, they just walk around and talk, and you can hear it on camera. What is going on? I have to find out about this. So he was fine, but I became like a kind of a little bit of a fanatic. And so then I documented it all here um, on my YouTube. Now I'm so used to it that really we do paranormal talk and like spiritual talk and tarot card readings live Wednesday nights. Thursday we do either interviews or games. And then, most of the other times I do all the other stuff I like to do, which is crafting or cooking, writing spooky stories, talking out people's paranormal experiences that I find all over the internet on posts. And then I also make music, which the song that you heard in the opening, right before we did the opening for John, that song I made. I do not sing, but I love to write I love to write the words and then have the AI sing it for me. So I can keep all my subscribers and they don't leave because I'm singing. So yeah. So yeah, John's setting up. He'll be here shortly. And thank you guys so much for listening to me. while we wait for John. And yeah, so that's what we mostly do on my channel. So I hope you check out some of the stuff if you are really into paranormal. Hey, Jen. Um, if you are really into like paranormal, check out my paranormal investigation live streams playlist, because the playlist, I mean, we did do some live streams, but the thing about the paranormal live streams, if you're out, the internet's so bad when you're out. So the videos are much better. So check out the paranormal exploration playlist. I also have an original music playlist, and I have a cooking playlist, a crafting playlist, and everything else playlist. So and everything else. Um, so yeah, that's what I'm about. So it's lovely to meet you guys. Thank you so much for coming in. All the new people who came to see John. John will be up in a second. Hey, Scott. He is just setting up his stuff, so he should be here at any moment. And yeah, and then we're gonna talk paranormal today, because John, normally, if you do not know John, and I think I pinned his the trucker John, his link up there, so you can click. If you do not know trucker John, you can click his link, and you will go to his channel so you could subscribe. And he normally does I want to say politics. He talks about politics, but it usually ends up being everything else, because he starts reading the chat, and then we get on to everything other than politics sometimes. So it's a fun chat. And if you like to just chat about everything, check out John. I can only tell you that he goes lives at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, except for Tuesday and Thursday, which I realize now is 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I don't know what time that is for everybody else, but that's the time it is for me. But when you click, you will see, when you subscribe, you'll see what times he goes live. So, yes. Okay. Just checking. Usually it dings me when he's here, but so yeah. Yes, that's right, Big Hook. Politics, sports, entertainment, bugs, you name it, the price of bananas. Literally, that's some of the chat we had today. It's important to know the price of bananas all over the world. Super interesting. But we do have lots of fun. So definitely please check him out. You'll meet him, and then you'll see that he's cool, and then you'll subscribe. So yeah. And geez, I don't know. Like, while we're waiting, should we have another song? Should we have another song? I have a video, a new Halloween song. 69 cents a pound there. There you go, Jolie. What the heck? Oh, thank you. Thank you for handling it. Bananas have peeling rights too. Yes, they do. And they have the right to an appeal. Yes. Hello, Twisted Nerves. Welcome in. Good to meet you. John will be in any second. He's just setting up, I don't know, his mic or whatever men do to set up their live stream. And then he shall be on. And of course, anybody new, if you have any questions for me, um, I did just explain kind of what my channel was about and how I got started, the really super fast edition. Because when you know me long enough, you kind of know I could talk a little. I just come say hi, good evening. So you're over in Trucker John's chat. Well, it's very lovely to meet you. And Trucker John is going to be here, he said, in a few minutes. He's just setting up. Um, so you you can wait. You can come back in 10 minutes if you'd like. We'll be here talking to John. Hopefully, he doesn't leave me chatting too much longer. But yes, that's what we'll be doing. Lots of what we'll be doing. I'm here till my job calls me. Wait, well, there you go. Thank you so much for being here, Big Hook. And it's lovely chatting with all you guys in Trucker John's chat. I also see some people in other places too, like Hal Sparks or um, Texas Paul. I go to the 21st Century Suffragettes all the time. I don't miss them. And Midas. I like Luke Beasley, so I'm sometimes over there. I don't really talk because I think there's mostly young people in Luke Beasley's, but I love to listen to him. So yeah. I do. So I go over there. Those are the ones I frequent. Yeah, so I do see some people there sometimes too. But some of them have so many people you can't it's hard to chat with people you don't know because there's so many people in those chats. Good one is Lev Parness and the Daily is that Daily? I think that's a Daily Beast. I see them, but I don't go into the live streams because there's so many live streams going on at any given time that sometimes the times are off for me, so I don't make the live streams, but I'll watch things back or videos they post. That's okay. I knew what you were talking about, SFL. Blue dot in Texas is good. A blue dot is he probably knows Texas Paul then. What is Franklin's a little turtle? I love the hey Yankee Kyle, how are you doing, sweetheart? I hope you're good. Hey Brandon, please stay and hang out. Our guest will be here shortly. It's having a little technical dilemmas, obviously. Because you don't need much setup for this. As you see, I did nothing. I don't even have a green screen. Yeah. I just press let's go. Let's go, let's go. I'm ready. Um, yeah. Hell, I hope it's better. Yeah. Talking about coffee. While I've been waiting here, I've finished. So I hope you all have coffee for the show. I hope you have coffee for the show. There's John. See, I told you he wouldn't let us down. There you go.
I guess these. I put in these earbuds. I don't think they're working though.
That's okay. You just have to turn the YouTube down because I hear myself.
Let me just take these out. I don't think these are working. Yeah, that's right. I got this on. All right. Can you hear me okay?
I hear you fine.
Okay. Alrighty.
Can the chat hear it?
Sorry I'm late. The Dodgers are on right now. And I've been watching the game.
Yes, I know.
I'm all decked out in my Dodger gear, and this is the big moment here. The Dodgers got 2 runners on, and they might score. I don't know.
We're in the 7th inning, are we?
Yes. Yep. 7th inning. We got 2 runners on, 1 out.
I checked because I was like, oh, I wonder, how far in the game we are. And how much, attention we're going to get. Hey, this is John, guys. And by the way, I'm going to play the intro for him since I don't think he saw his intro since I played it when we started. So we'll play the intro and then we'll get started.
Alrighty.
I can find the intro. It's so tiny. Here we go. Hello and welcome in, everyone. Today we're going to be interviewing Trucker John. And if you don't know who John is, don't dismay. You're going to get to meet him today. His channel link is pinned in the comments of the live chat and will also be in the description. We invited John today to talk about paranormal, but normally on his channel he talks politics. Mostly he reads our chat and answers you. So if you like to jibbity jab on live streams, check John out, because 1 minute it will be politics and the next sports. However, today in this chat, we'll be asking John about his paranormal experiences, especially his UFO encounters. So without further ado, let's get right into today's live stream. There you go. Nice. And then there was a countdown, a 10-second countdown. We don't need that because we're already here. So there you go.
That was nice.
I made all the funny pictures. Did you see at one I was holding your head?
Oh, okay.
In the Halloween picture. That was funny.
Okay, cool.
Actually, I think I have that one in big here, but I figured the interview one would be better. Here, I could put it behind us, I think. If I could find the damn pictures. Oh, here we go. There. You see, I'm actually holding your head. In that. It's kind of behind me, but yeah, it's It's you on the computer, and then it's me holding your head for Halloween.
Is that my green head?
That's your green head, because you're supposed to be like Frank. I'm the wife of Frankenstein, and you're, I'm holding Frankenstein's head. Who is you?
Very Halloweeny.
Very Halloweeny, yes. I even made myself an alien to, put that in. But I know you were, Bibia, how are you, sweetheart? Oh, yes. You're going to be switching in between us both? Yes, darling. So, see, I have people do that in my chat, too. They come in, they say hi, but I got to see this one. I got to see that one.
Yeah.
Live. Well, this is a little off time for me, but I realized, because House Sparks went at 8 o'clock and all that, I was like, whatever. Whatever.
Yeah. I didn't even watch Hal today because of the game.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a little.
I never missed Hal, but today I missed him because I was watching the game.
Well, he just went on at 8. He wasn't on before. He was just posting videos.
Yeah, he came on. It's he came on at 5 my time.
Well, what time is it for you? 24 minutes ago. When I went live, he went live, at the same time.
Oh, so he just went on, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know. Yeah, because usually Thursdays he usually comes on at 4 my time.
Yeah, somehow he didn't go on because I was watching the 21st Century Suffragettes, but I didn't see that he went live. I am all over the place. But I heard something so interesting when I was in your live stream, and you said that you had multiple UFO sightings, and I was like, oh boy, I'd like to hear about that. I do different like cryptids and spirits, of course, because I'm a spirit medium on top of a spirit enthusiast, whatever you want to call him. I like the spirits, but I do believe in UFOs, and I'll tell you my experience, which was one only. It was the 4th of July, and I was living in Long Island at the time, and I went over to my friend was having a barbecue, my coworker, and I love fireworks, and I was just looking up, and there was something weird, so I start filming it. And I'm like, what is that? A drone? And so everybody comes look. Now we're all looking at it. I'm filming it. And it literally was there. And the way it like disappeared, everybody was like, that shit was a UFO. Everybody said it at the same time. And I'm like, wow, I never seen one. I mean, but it was so crazy because the sky was lit up with fireworks, but you could tell that that was something, I don't know. Nobody knew what it was. The color was weird. It was on the eye, it was close to the camera. Of course, it looked far away. But it just the way it moved and it disappeared. It just disappeared. Like you're like a drone doesn't disappear. It doesn't turn off its lights if or something in mid flight or what. So we were just like, what the hell,
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the only time I ever seen it with my own eyes. Anything.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's weird because I went through my whole life never seeing a UFO, and people always talk about UFOs that they've seen, and I never saw a UFO until I started driving a truck, and I was out on the road all the time.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't start driving a truck till 2004, so I was already like in my mid 40s by then. Because I had never seen a UFO, but then when I was out on the road, I guess because you're just exposed to being out on the road, and I guess you see stuff. And
yeah.
So yeah, it was really weird. I guess it was the first one was it was probably 10 or 15 years ago, probably at least 15 years ago or so. I was driving up, I was in Nevada here, probably about 50, 60 miles north of Las Vegas, and out on the highway, not too far from Area 51, by the way, where I was at.
Oh.
And it was nighttime, and so it's just a 2-lane highway out in the middle of nowhere. And all of a sudden, up in the sky, I'm just driving my truck, and all of a sudden, in front of me, up in the sky, was like this big. Just think about like a high rise, like a skyscraper, but on its side, like horizontal. That's what it looked like. It was like up in the sky, and you could see all like it was kind of like window panels, but there were lights, and that went all the way across, and they just like came on, like they were just like shining right down on me, or the whole area, just like lit this whole area up. And all I could see was this big, giant light, like a big light bar, but it was huge, it was like as big as a skyscraper, as big as a 50-story building, but it's on its side.
I'm in New York, so I know what those things look like.
Yeah, so there it was up there, and then all of a sudden, from the side, this cylindrical craft or whatever, all of a sudden it just showed up, and it was bright enough where I could see that it was round, and I could see the back end of it was just round, and then the front of it was a big light that just started shining this light at the other thing. And they kind of had this back and forth little light show going on. Back and forth.
They were communicating. Yeah. Like Morse code or something.
It was really weird. Yeah, they did that and this went on for, it's probably not too long, like, I don't know, 30 seconds or 45 seconds. And I'm trying to not wreck, I'm trying not to drive off the road, because I'm like, what the hell is that? And then it just stopped, and it's like they just went away. They just vanished. And I even pulled over. I pulled over. I was like, what the hell did I just see? And I was trying, but it was nighttime, so I couldn't really, it was dark. Once they left, everything was dark again. But I remember pulling over and going, wow, what was that? And it was just gone. So then I got back in my truck and I drove somewhere. But that was really, really freaky.
Yeah. Because so big, and now you're seeing it, and you're like, it turned on its lights. Does it want me? Like, what's going on?
I felt like it was pretty far up in the sky, but I felt like they saw me, because I was the only vehicle out at that time. It was pretty late at night. It was like midnight or something or whatever, and it's really remote. There's nothing out there where I was at, and I just felt like they must have seen me. They must have known that I was, in my truck, You know, I'm in an
Right.
18-wheeler, but maybe not. I don't know. But they just did their thing, and I don't know what, I don't know if that was extraterrestrial. I don't know if that's, you know, government technology, some sort of secret government, you know, aircraft or whatever. I have no idea what it was. But
Well, you said it was 2014 the first time you saw it?
I started driving in 2004. That was probably
Oh, 2004.
that was probably later. That was probably like 2008 or 2010, something like that.
Okay, so yeah, so 2010. By now, if they had that technology, we would have seen it, I'm sure. Like they would have used it, especially with the one we got in there now. He would have been bragging about that shit. We would have
Yeah.
saw it in an email, on a stupid tweet somewhere, you know.
He would have been like, the likes of which you've never seen.
Yes. So we're gonna assume that probably that was not of this world because yeah,
I don't know.
we would know about it.
Yeah. And to this day, I don't know. And then another one I saw, it's kind of like that. And this was out in the desert too. It was in California, but it was on Interstate 40, out in the desert on the way, heading east towards like the Colorado River and towards Needles, like towards Arizona, basically. But you're still on the California side, and it's just all desert. And I remember, well, actually, I think I was headed westbound. I had come from Arizona, but I was in California, and it was another kind of a light show. And it was kind of like, you remember Close Encounters of the Third Kind?
Yes.
When they had the big lights, and it was like, you know, and it played like a song. It was like doo doo.
Yes.
It was kind of like that, except these were just, it was like these big round lights, like kind of like a searchlight, but bigger than anything that you could imagine, because it was way up in the sky, and it was like these huge lights, and what it was doing, it was like 4 lights, but you could only see one at a time. So one would go on, and it was kind of like sequential. It was like 1 2 3 4 4 3 2 1 1 2 3 4 4 3 2. It was going back and forth. These huge lights. I mean, and it couldn't have been, because I'm trying to think, was that just was like an airplane or a helicopter, or was it a drone?
Oh, that high up,
Was it a tower, some communication tower? But no, it couldn't be that, because there was 4 separate lights, and huge, really humongous, and I got on the CB, and I was driving the truck, and I got on my CB, and I was like, "Are you guys seeing this?" And a bunch of guys came back like, "Yes." I go, "What the hell is that?" And they're like, "I don't know. You got me." And you know, a lot of these guys, a lot of these drivers, they're ex-military. They're a lot of guys were in the Air Force or whatever. They know if they see something weird, you know.
Right.
And but I don't know if the guys I spoke to were ex-Air Force, but you know, I mean, there's a lot of guys on the road, and everyone saw it. I mean, at that time, it was nighttime, but it was on a freeway. It was on an interstate, and there was quite a bit of traffic. And I was on my CB. I go, "What the hell was that?" And everyone was freaking out. Everyone was like, "I don't know. That I've never seen anything like that." Everyone on the radio was like, "I've never seen anything like that before."
Yeah.
You know, and it was just lights, so you couldn't really see. I couldn't see a craft, or I couldn't see anything. I only saw these huge lights, but they were definitely in a pattern. It wasn't just random. It was like, you know, 1 2 3 4 4 3 2 1, where it kept going back and forth, on and off, and it did that for about, I know, quite a few minutes, you know, or a few minutes, because I'm driving. I ended up just, you know, I just kept driving, and then it just stopped. Then it just stopped doing. So I don't know. It was really, really weird, and a lot of people saw it, and a lot of people kind of were like, "I don't know what that was," you know. Because a lot of times people will just say, "Oh, that's just a plane," or "That's just you know, whatever." They'll have some excuse, but no one could think of anything what that could have been. So that was kind of freaky.
Oh yeah.
And that was about the same time period as the other one, a couple years apart, probably.
Oh, okay, so yeah, so if one was around 2010 and the other one was, you know, a few years later, well, that's when you were doing the most driving, I would assume, in California.
Well, I drove all over, but all over the country. Another one I saw. Here's another thing. I never. It wasn't involving it wasn't involving anything I saw in the sky, but I like I said, I've driven. I was in Texas. I was on some highway in the middle of Texas, and it was nighttime. And I've seen lots of military like convoys, right, where you've seen the long military where they're just driving all their vehicles, their jeeps and their transport vehicles, and
Yeah.
you've probably seen that. So I've seen that. I've seen that plenty of times. But this one night I saw this one thing. It reminded me of a military convoy, but this wasn't military. This was like, or at least not. I don't know what it was, but there was a lot of trucks that were painted kind of like this green, kind of like almost like a military type of a green, like. But there was no markings on these vehicles, nothing whatsoever. Like every military convoy I've seen, it'll say U.S. Army. It'll have numbers on it. They'll have license plates and everything. These vehicles had no license plates. These were 18-wheelers, a whole string of 18-wheelers, followed by, and then they had SUVs, like the SUVs that you see, like the big,
Right.
those big SUVs that they drive. There must have been 20 or at least 20 18-wheelers, all green. The trailers are all green. No markings, no identifying markers, no license plate, no nothing. And all the vehicles, no markings, no license plate, all tinted windows. I mean, it's just weird, some sort of government thing. And they all passed me up on the highway. I kind of just moved over, let them go, and let them pass. And then probably about 30 or 40 miles down the road, then there was like a police barricade where they had barricaded the road off, and I had to take a detour, a big giant detour around something. So I think something happened out in the desert or out in Texas, and this was some sort of government, I don't know,
Cover up.
team
Satire. It was a government cover up.
I don't know if a cover up, but yeah, I mean, it was definitely a secret thing where there was no identification on these vehicles, and so I think something happened, and they had to go check it out. It's something. It would be something, I would think, extraterrestrial, or maybe, or maybe from some other government that something crashed out there. I have no idea, but that was really weird too. That really kind of spooks me. It was kind of weird because you're out in the middle of nowhere on a 2-lane highway, pitch black, middle of Texas, and then this like 30 or 40 long vehicle caravan goes through, and they're not identified at all what agency they're with or anything. And then there's a detour that where they did have actual cops and stuff, that because you can see the lights, and they had the road blocked, and then they were they're like directing you, okay, you go there, and you had to follow the detour, and it was about a 30-mile detour, So something big happened out in the middle of Texas that night, and I'll never know what happened.
Yeah, because if you don't hear about it on the news and something like that, you would hear about it. Oh, a military helicopter crashed in Texas, and they had to clear it, and to hear nothing, then
I never heard anything on the news or anything. Yeah, it was really weird. Yeah. And another time, and I was in Dallas one night, and I was at an industrial, because I had a delivery the next morning. It's like one of those industrial parks with all the like warehouses and stuff. And so I just was parking on the street for the night because I had the delivery in the morning.
Yeah.
And so this is right outside of Dallas, and like I could see the city of Dallas off in the distance, the skyline and everything. And so that's how close I was. But I was off in the outskirts, and so I parked my truck, and then I got out of my truck, and I wanted to. I was going to throw a padlock on the back door because I don't think I had it locked, and I was just going to check the seal, and I put the padlock on it. And as I was doing that, right overhead, I could hear this something flying over, like really, but really slow. Like it was like a blimp.
Right.
And I looked up, and it was like invisible, but I could kind of see an outline of what looked like the Goodyear blimp. And this
So
one was really close.
like Wonder Woman's
Yeah.
plane, you could see it, but you can't.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It was like this invisible technology. And I could almost hear like the motor, and I almost felt like I could hear people talking. That's how close it was. But it was like invisible, and I could see I could see stars and lights, and I could just barely see this kind of outline, and it was just going really, like kind of slow. And I was going, and I just was looking, and my jaw dropped because it was just, it was just weird. And I remember talking to a guy who there was a guy that was a friend of the family, and he claims that he works in that he has like top secret, security clearance or something in the Air Force, and that he knows that he's seen stuff or whatever. And I told him about that, and he said that he didn't know of any like cloaking technology or anything like that, or whatever you would call it. Because I asked him if he'd known anything about that, and he said no. I don't know. So maybe he couldn't say, but that was really weird.
Yeah. Now, I heard recently, and I don't know if you heard this, but I heard recently that they passed a law that anything the government has, stories that people told, called in, video, whatever, about supernatural stuff, no matter what it is, has to be released to the public. It has to be made public.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I thought that was super interesting that the government asked for this. Like, they want to know. And I'm talking about like the Congress and whatever, because they passed the law, the Congress saying that they wanted, but it to be public for everybody to see it. And I was like, really? All the stuff that they have relating to what they think is UFOs. And with all this stuff going on, I mean, people, don't look at that as a big deal, but I thought it was a big deal. And I wonder if we could Google it and see when they're going to let it all out, or if it's out already. The law about the government telling all the UFO stuff. This is how I search Google. Just tell me. You know what the fuck I'm talking about.
But I guess.
Okay, so the most influential legislation was included in the National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal year 2024. So they have to, the collection of records, all that stuff, they can only classify it for up to 25 years, but then everything that they have, before, so all the older stuff will be coming out or whatever, and then anything after that, after 2023 or something. So they have a whole thing, how the government is, how they write things, but yeah, so you should be able to start looking up this stuff, the older stuff especially, to see what like the government had on this stuff, what they've been hiding all these years.
Well, I guess people want to know, because if they've ever recovered any alien bodies or something. That's the big thing that people claim.
Oh yeah, I guess. But
I don't know if that'll ever come.
Right. Even if they didn't recover any bodies, the fact that if you see something that you saw too, that nobody believed you or whatever, it's just validation. Also to be like, hey, I'm not crazy. I did see these things, and somebody else saw it too. They just,
yeah.
Because a lot of people didn't want to, especially that long ago didn't want to say anything because just like paranormal, you say you see a ghost, you're in the fun farm. That's it. There's no like they're doing testing on you and all this stuff, you know. Um, Eddie and Jen, the vlogs, and then some asks, by any chance, has he had any other encounters? Well, three he told us so far. um,
Yeah, I don't know. I did have a weird thing. I think it might have been airplanes because I was near the Air Force Base in Arizona. There's one sort of uh, northwest of the Phoenix area. I forget the name of the Air Force Base.
okay, dog.
But I did see these. What I think might have been, they might have been fire jets. They might have been in a formation, but they were going faster than I've ever seen. And I grew up near George Air Force Base
Right.
in Victorville, and I've gone to air shows, and I've seen a lot of airplanes and flying, and whatever was going across the sky, because all I could see was the lights. Again, it was kind of almost dark, and you could see these lights just streaking across the sky in a formation, like a star formation, kind of like, and really going way faster than anything I've seen. But so I don't know if that was just aircraft, really fast aircraft, like of Earth, U.S. government, Air Force stuff, or not. But that was that kind of caught my attention.
Yeah. Well, and
And
that's
that,
the thing about supposed UFOs, right? If the government hides the technology, which you sort of understand, um, then it's all unexplained to everybody else, you know?
yeah, UFO is
So, I
unidentified.
mean, to us, if it's going a speed that is almost impossible for regular aircrafts that we've seen go, then of course we're going to think, and that's why I think they started to have this disclosure act where people could see, because of the fact that um they'll see what stuff the government classified as UFOs. All the rest of the stuff probably is just government, and that's why it's not in there. So you could probably chalk that up to, oh, they have some interesting technology or whatever, because I saw it, but they don't have, nobody else saw it, or something like that. So also, so you don't get so many people having like encounters that are really just, airplanes, like,
Right. Yeah.
but it would be nice if they do it with video too, like and stuff like that. I've seen so much stuff like on it. I was always interested in it, but I didn't really pay any attention because I'm like, well, until I was one of those, I want to see it or experience something first. Like with the paranormal, I took my son out thinking, oh my gosh, I hope something appeases him so he doesn't think he's crazy and the school leaves me alone and whatever. And it ended up being, you know, so much stuff on tape that I caught with him. One time we went out that he was fine. He was like, "Oh, it's ghosts that I'm hearing. Okay, so no big deal." And he went back to school. I was like, "Ghosts are just walking all over the heckin' the place. They're walking all over the freaking place." I'm like, "Oh no, I have to find out about this. Like, what's going on?" So he was fine with it, and I became a freak. Like, I have to find out about this, and see what's going on. And so I usually take things to the extreme, but with that, I I was like, I believe that there's other things. I know there is out there. They're just probably not coming here. So I believe that there's aliens. I don't know why they would come here, right? So I wouldn't. But anyway, so I was always like, oh, whatever, yeah, of course aliens exist, but I don't believe that all this stuff is aliens because they're not coming here like that. What the hell are they doing? Who wants to come here? So, but then when I saw that, like I said, on the 4th of July, that day, like I could not explain it. I actually have a very short video of it before it disappeared on my channel. Um, and somewhere I'll have to find it and send you the link. But anyway, um, yeah. So I did film it. I don't know what the heck it was, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, you know," and then when they'll watch it again and again, they'll be like, "But it just disappears." I'm like, "That's what I'm saying." I don't know what just disappears. It wasn't a firework because you could see the light from the fireworks in the background.
Yeah.
You knew it wasn't a firework, and if it was a plane or something else, I don't really think it disappeared from my eyes. I mean, on the camera, it looks like it just disappears. But from my eyes, it looked like it went so fast, like that it was gone in an instant. Like literally, that's how fast it went that your eye couldn't catch it, you know? Um, because your eye, your brain, nothing can move that fast. Like to me, that's what it like what it felt like. But yeah, but and then I started looking into it more, but I never seen anything else again strange, except for the fact that the other day I went out to see the moon about a month ago. And I don't know what's going on recently with a lot of things. Like in New York, the days are getting so much shorter. And people's like, oh, the time changes and all this. I go, no. I understand about time changes and stuff, but to have when even as early as 10 years ago that the 10 years ago at the same time of year, it would start getting dark, let's say at 6, and now by 4:30 it's dark. Like where the hell is the day? You know what I'm saying? Like why? There's a certain amount of sunlight that should be during the day and it ain't that, and like my boyfriend's in Canada. He lives in Canada. I'm here. We have a long distance relationship. I'm in New York. He has the same time zone as me, right? But because when it travels, the sun and everything. So it's pitch dark here at 5 o'clock. I call him. It's sunny as hell. Like, what the fuck?
That's
they
weird.
have plenty of daylight going on, and I have like none. And I just find it weird. And even in the summer, when it should get dark at 9 o'clock, 9:30, when I was younger, 9:30 it would get dark. Now, by 8 o'clock, the sun went down. I'm like, what's going on? Like, So the other day, I went out to see the moon. So now talking about this is how I go, no, I'm in the wrong freaking timeline. I'm in the wrong place. Maybe I died and I don't know it. Like all this shit. This is why I talk to ghosts, because I'm fucking really dead. I don't know. Like, right? Maybe I am in the Matrix. But yeah, I went outside to see the moon because they were like, oh, it's some full moon, whatever. And I went outside, and from the time and where the moon should be, I look and I go, that's strange. It's clear. Where's the moon? And I go to turn around to go inside, and the moon's all the way where it should be. So I went out at 9 o'clock. At 9 o'clock, should be on this side of my house. On the other side, it shouldn't be until 12 by the time it makes its way. So I go, I go to turn, and it's already like it's leaving. And I'm like, how's the moon over there?
Yeah.
Like, And I was like, and I kept just staring. I'm like, what time is it? Wait, I must admit, did I fall asleep and wake up late? What the hell happened? I go to get my phone to see the time. I go, no, I don't know what the fuck is going on. Like, I don't know. So it's weird things like that's been going on that I've noticed, and I don't notice a lot because things sometimes pass me by because you don't think about it. You don't think about where the moon should be in the sky. Usually you just go out there, hi moon, and you go away, But because I was specifically looking for it at where it should be at what time, when I went, like I said, I came out of my yard is like, there's a little pathway to go to the backyard. So I was walking in the pathway and I'm looking the way of the moon and I'm like, is it still behind the train station? Like it's not late enough to come around? Oh no, I don't see it. I go, maybe it's still in the front because it starts in the front of my house and then goes around all the way around. Then it goes away, right? So when I went to go look in the front, and when I went and it was there where it should have been at like midnight or 1 o'clock, I was like, what the heck? I was so confused. So I don't know. I don't know if that's
You should Google because I thought I heard something where you know how the Earth is on is tilted on an axis or whatever, and I
yeah.
thought I heard something where that had changed a little bit. The
Yeah,
tilt.
it did. The tilt did change. And I did check into that because I just thought it was so strange. And also there's like 2 times a year where the moon does do something strange and sets in a different spot. That was
Uh,
not one of those days. I checked it because
oh,
like I
okay.
said, I don't like to be like, oh, you're an idiot, Christina. Don't you know that 2 times a year the moon goes a different rotation? Um, I didn't know that until I looked it up because I was like, well, no, why is the moon in the wrong spot, you know? Um, so
I didn't know that.
those are all right. Those are all good things to know. It just wasn't on that day that the moon was going the wrong way. So um yeah, so there's a lot of things that you got to look up so you're not dumb, right? Like you're not talking out your ass. But this wasn't what, like I said, it wasn't the day that the moon was the opposite way, and it wasn't like because I checked, where should which direction, where should it be at what time in New York, get the fucking compass out on the phone, man, where the hell am I, you know, and yeah, but these kind of weird stuff has been going on, I think, for a while, and people don't notice, like I said, if I wasn't specifically looking for this full bright moon that I was gonna see really big because it should be just coming up over the and now it's all the way on the other side and it's small. I go, no, there's something wrong. And I'm telling you, these short days in New York driving me nuts. Which is why I keep saying I have to move out of New York because I can't take there's not enough daylight
That seems odd
anymore.
because usually
Is
the
it?
short days aren't really until like December.
Right.
The real short days, yeah, like
Yeah, the real short
late
days. But
November and December, yeah.
yeah, so in September, for it to be, we didn't even go change the clocks, yet. 5 o'clock, it's friggin' dark, pitch dark. I'm like, what is going on? you know?
Yeah.
So I
I
don't
don't
know.
know how to explain that one. I don't know.
Yeah. And I tried looking it up, like, and they did say because of, I don't know what the hell they said, that it's like 15-minute difference, but it's not. It's hours. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Then that's like that. Do you believe in that Mandela effect? Like when you would did you ever hear of that? The Mandela effect, like when you swear, like the Bernstein's bear book was spelled, the Bernstein bears were spelled a certain way, and that now when you go to look at it, you're like, they didn't spell it that way when I was younger. And that's how people think they've switched timelines and stuff. They call it the Mandela effect because when you switch timelines, something's different.
Oh,
Um, yeah, super interesting. Look at that too. Like how many people thought this person was dead. Like I saw their funeral and then that person isn't dead. Um, but it's not only one person, it's like half the people in the world were like, no, I went to the funeral, and they're like, no, he's alive. And they're like, no, I went to the like, and it's like it's so crazy, right? So this is where those kind of things I like to look over. Like I said, all this, the Mandela effect is real. Yes, Jolie. Um, so like I feel like this thing with the time and how the shorter days and all that.
are an effect of, like, like I was looking at something and I was like, I was looking for the Pet Cemetery, right? And I was like, oh, I want to watch that movie, The Pet Cemetery. I haven't seen it in so long. And I'm looking and I'm looking and I'm looking. And I keep typing it and it keeps telling me there's no movie like that. I'm like, listen, I know there's a Pet Cemetery 1 and 2 and whatever. And then, like, finally it showed me it spelled with an S, and I did forget, they spelled it seminary and not cemetery, whatever. But because I was searching for it for so long and it kept telling me there's no movie Pet Cemetery, I was like, what the fuck? Like, I'm like, shouldn't Google know it's just spelled differently, because obviously I'm looking for this thing that does exist. It's just spelled differently. Usually it fixed my spelling. It
Right.
wouldn't. It was like the movie didn't exist, and I kind of flipped out, and I was like, I forgot. I think I texted my friend Benny, and I was like, Benny, how is the movie spelled? Like, I remember when you went into the cemetery, it had the S, but I don't remember them spelling the original movie that, like, calling the movie that with the S, but whatever. But so some people are like, no, it was with the C in the movie, but S in inside the movie, but the title was with a C. Everybody had a different thing, and I was like, okay. And I always feel like these things are just things you remember because you were on a different freaking timeline than everybody else, when these things happened.
It's funny. I don't even remember how it was spelled now. I don't even remember.
Yes.
One way or the other.
Yes, I agree with you, Jolie. And there were some other things too. There's a lot. There's a whole list of things like that people remember a different way than how it is. Like, I'll give you another example. I went to go to I went when I was with my son's father at the time, so we were probably 17. That was a long time ago because I'm pushing 50, as my financial advisor tells me. So anyway, I go he takes me to the Statue of Liberty, one of the few dates we went on. We go to the Statue of Liberty, and I go, oh, I want to go to the Crown. Yeah. So I go to the lady, and I go, oh, I want to go up to the Crown and to the torch. And she goes, oh, you can't go up there because they're both under construction. The torch, you can't go in, or the Crown, because it's under construction. And I said, okay, like, we came all the way here. We could have looked up, but back then there wasn't, like, you would have had to call because there was, like, no internet. Like, where, right. So we're like, oh, okay, so it's under construction. So we didn't get to go to the Crown or the torch or anything. A few years later, I go, oh, I wonder if you could go to the torch, because I knew in my head you were able to go to the torch. And the lady did tell me when I went there to go up there, she said, oh, no, you can't. It's under construction, the torch. And then now they say they came up with, you were never allowed to go into the torch. My aunt says she went to the torch. All these people say, no, I've been in the torch. You were able to go in the torch. You were able to go in the Crown. You were able to go in the torch. And now it's like, no, you were never able to go there. Some work people only. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? They used to have a tour where you could go up the torch and down. It was like one person at a time because it's small in there. But, and they were like, no, that was when it first opened. But then, they closed it. I'm like, okay, whatever you say. Like, when the first year was open only, I was like, no, because my aunt's not that old, like, we were just talking about it. And we were like, I don't understand what they're talking about. But it's those kind of things where you're like, what do you mean you can't go? What do you mean you can't go to the Crown? You can't go to the torch? I mean, so they told me when I went, they told me it was, hey, Jeff, they told me it was both parts were closed. why I say both parts are closed. They would say, "Oh, well, the crown is closed. You could never have gone to the torch because the torch." No, she's like, "No, right now they're closed for construction." Anyway, I
Yeah,
don't.
I always thought you could go up there. I've
Right.
never been up there. I've never been there, but
B Dubs, hey, how are you?
I'd always heard that people could go up there, and I
Yes,
do
well,
remember, I do remember hearing that it was closed for a while. Yeah, they were doing work on it or something,
yeah.
but I didn't know it was permanent. And for sure, people in the past would go up there.
Oh, yeah, for sure, but you can't now go to the like supposedly you can never go. If you look
Yeah,
it up at
that's
Google, you could never go to the and I'm like, get the hell out of here.
yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Right. So this is what I say, that sometimes we jump. I feel like we're on a different, like we just got in the wrong place. We went to the wrong timeline. We're all sifting through this, and eventually different things hit different people because they switch timelines maybe at the same time or whatever, you know. So it's super interesting to think about. But yeah,
I always just say it's a glitch in the matrix.
a good, yeah. But you
When
should
stuff
look
like
up
that
this
happens.
yeah, you should look up this Mandela effect. It's interesting, and especially because I believe very highly in timelines, you know, that there's timelines running parallel, overlapping, over, you know, and that by accidentally you do something and you can shift to a different one. I highly believe that. So yeah. So yeah, that's why I'm trying to look for the one that's going to get me out of where Trump is president, but I haven't found it yet.
But you never know. You might go into some worse timeline. You know, so, like
You
they could.
never know. I could go to one where I'm president, then we're all fucked.
Oh, I'm sure that would be better. I'm sure.
No, it would be. We'd have a lot of free stuff though, and the government might be broke, but you know.
We'd have chocolate milk and all the drinking fountains.
Yeah, yeah. Um, no,
Yeah.
but I believe in free schooling, free medical. There should be free transfer to free blah, 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 free transportation for people who cannot afford to take a bus or a train. You know, and you know, I believe that stuff. People should just be nice to people. The government should not be telling you, no, you can't get on the bus because you can't afford it. Like you should have a pass. Like they should, just like you get like food stamps or whatever, you should just have a pass that says I'm fucking poor. I go on the bus for free, and you can like there's a little tap screen, like you tap your credit card, that you tap this card and it says okay, bye, go, and you get on the bus for fucking free, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it just make I don't know why that, you know, the way everything is, where you can hardly make and like barely not even eat, you know, and they want to suck more money out of you to take the bus, you know. Like it's just dumb. You have enough of our money. You do not need to charge these poor people to take the freaking bus. Like it's just dumb,
Yeah.
you know.
And I'm
Anyway,
sure we could. I think we can afford a lot of this stuff. It's just our priorities aren't right. You know?
yeah, well that's what it is,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, other countries do a lot of things. They have, like all those Scandinavian countries and stuff. They do a lot of stuff and get free things. They say their taxes are a little bit higher, but I think they get a good bang for their buck, in their
Yeah,
taxes. And so I'd rather have my taxes go to good things, to help people
right.
than to just keep, subsidizing big oil or big pharma or lowering taxes for rich people.
Yeah,
I'd
right,
rather
exactly.
the money go to helping people. Like you say, get food and transportation.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it just makes sense. You know, sometimes I had to walk over to my orthopedist doctor the other day, and it's a little further than I'm used to. And by the time I got there, oh, my back and my legs and everything were killing me. And you know, we talked. It was my first time at this guy, and he go, "Okay, sit down. I'm gonna, check you out." I go, "Oh yeah, okay." And like I said, because I had already walked and I'm dying and I'm not that old. He put his hand on my back. I literally almost hit the ceiling. I was like, "Holy cow, that hurts. Why'd you do that?" He's like, "I barely touched you." And he's like, "You need an MRI." Because I was just like, it was so painful. Him just touching my back that second that I was like, he was like,
Wow.
you know. And so I was like, if the bus was for free, I would have just been able to, get on the bus to go there most of the way. And I wouldn't have had to worry about, if I take the bus, I won't have enough food to eat, maybe, like, so,
Right.
yeah, so it's bad. Like, I don't, I don't understand it really, and you pay your taxes 30 years and then you're paying into Social Security and all this stuff, and then they want to take it away. Well, how could you take it away? Because that literally means you stole from me.
Yeah.
For 40 years, I could have put it in my own. Like, I have my own too. I could have
Right.
put it in my own IRA. The hell is wrong with you? Like, you can't take it away because then it's, you
Yeah.
can't take money for a service and not offer it. It's
That's
illegal.
the greatest heist will be that,
Yeah.
you know, if they
Oh,
take away.
you know how many people will go to court for their Social Security money back and Medicaid that they paid? I know I'll be the first one online to be like, no, it's no problem. You don't want to give it. I want all the money that you took out of my check back. I worked 35 years. You're going to give me that money back,
Right.
you know, and it will probably only be like, maybe it's $100,000. I want it back. Give it back to whoever you're not giving the Social Security to or the Medicaid or whatever, because we paid into it. You didn't offer the service. If you don't offer the service, you have to give the money back. So that's simple,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
So I don't think they thought about it because I think that you can't. It would be like, I don't know, because he's a crazy person that gets away with everything, but I just think it's like you can't, people get in trouble for less. You can't take somebody's money for a service and not give them the service. Even if you go to, like, if it's a small claims court, Judge Judy is like, well, but you didn't do her hair or, whatever. So you have to give her back the money. Or you went to the wrong address and you ripped up the garden. She's not paying you. You're going to pay her to fix her garden, because, well, I did the service, so she has to pay me. Well, no, but you weren't supposed to do the service at her house. You were supposed to do it next door. It's just like that. You can't do things like that. It's like, it should be illegal, but I don't know. That's just my thought on that.
I guess the fear is how compromised the judicial system becomes,
Right.
or all these systems, if they all capitulate to whether it's Donald Trump or whoever takes takes over for him, and
Right.
that's the fear, is when they own
Well,
all the facets of government,
right. Well, that's what it is. We might have to have like this big overhaul where all the people stand together and go, no, everybody who's in there now, we're kicking out. We want new representatives. Make a ballot and let's change everybody. Everybody. Start all fresh again.
get a fresh start.
Get a fresh start. We're kicking out all the Congress, all the Senate, whoever's an elected official. We're getting rid of all of them, and we want a whole new ballot. Put a whole bunch of people we want to pick, and then we're gonna put in new ones and see how that goes. Start afresh, and you should be able to do that every once in a while.
That would be pretty radical, though. I mean, it would definitely take, you know, the entire population to finally
well,
be
that's
involved.
that's how that's how they do it in Canada, and because Canada does their elections this way, I believe we could do it this way. We have to have the initial person write the law and be done. If, like, they have where you put in the president, okay, and it's kind of like a dictatorship, but different because they can stay in office as long as they freaking want, right? But when the people get really freaking pissed, they all sign a petition, and I don't know how many they don't need. I think they need half the population or close to it or whatever they have electorates. They all sign a petition. They put it in, and they're like, "Okay, let's vote. We'll have a new president for you." And then they, you know, so there's like a petition, and all you got to do is sign the petition. And when it gets enough names, that guy's out, and they vote for other ones. And it's just like, okay,
Wow.
good, that's how they do it. Yeah, they sign a petition because he's like, yeah, I gotta sign a petition. I hate this guy. And I was like, oh, interesting. So
Yeah. I never
yeah,
heard of
and
that.
like 'cause at first I was like, is this? Do you have like I don't know, like a king and queen that stay there forever? Like I couldn't understand what their government was. He's like, no, no. If you really want them out, you just sign a petition. Everybody signs. You start the petition, and then you get them out. When enough people are pissed off, you have another election and you elect somebody else. So they even vote still. And I'm like, wow, I didn't realize this. Good to know how everything works. And so, yeah, so I was like, wow, we should write into something like that where if it really gets freaking bad, we could just all sign a petition and that one has to go and we're going to re-vote, no matter if it's in the middle of the term or not. Uh,
Yeah, but then we always have this pesky thing about you're making constitutional amendments. That's what it would take to do that,
yeah,
and you need to
but
have the numbers and everything. So
yeah.
it kind of it
Well,
kind of
that's why I'm
becomes
saying we need the overhaul first to be like, hey, listen, we can. This is this
yeah.
after this mess of him, we need to get rid of all those. Change the electors, the ones that are elected, and then start changing the laws. And those, if you get the
Yeah.
right people in there, they can change the laws. But you need the right people. So
Yeah, to do something like that, that's like a massive coup, or whatever. I mean, in order to do a big overhaul, I mean, that would be like a
a
coup.
big over, yeah. I mean, the thing is, we elect officials on what we know. If we get new information, we should be able to get them out. It's that simple. This is not like rocket science, okay? That document was amended before. You know why? Because shit changes.
Right.
The needs of people change.
Yeah, it can be done.
Society changes. All this stuff goes on. We're not living in the 1800s, the early 1900s. We're over here in the 20th century. Let's get a grip. You know, the laws,
Yeah.
the old laws that they have on file that they won't take off, like they have. I was telling everybody because I do tarot cards Wednesday, and they're like, "Oh, do you give private ones that you charge for?" I'm like, "Hell no, I'm not trying to go to jail." And they're like, "What?" I'm like, "No, there's a law. You cannot charge for fortune telling in New York City."
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I say, "You like it? Leave me a tip. Become a member of the channel, or leave a super chat or whatever."
Uh,
I have a PayPal link. You can drop me a PayPal, whatever. But I'm not telling you to pay because I'll be in jail. I'll be the first one. Ugh.
yeah.
But yeah. Hey, cult. So yeah. So you have to. Some of these laws are a little dumb. I can understand because they used to take advantage, but you should have it like a cap. Like, okay, you tell them it's for entertainment only, and the most you could charge is $150, and the frequency can't be more than once a month or something. If you capped it, then I would understand. But just to say that fortune telling for money is a farce, it's dumb, you know. But you know, back then it was a thing, you know. I don't know. So anyway, so they have a lot of stupid old laws that nobody ever looks at, but when it's convenient for the government, they're gonna pull it out. And the reason why
Right.
I knew about that law was because this lady in Pennsylvania had like tarot readings in her little crystal store. Well, I guess the cop didn't like her or whatever the case may be. And he went in there and he arrested her for
Wow.
charging and she's like, no. First of all, I don't it's just for fun. I'm not like, you know, claiming I'm telling the future or anything. It's tarot readings for fun or whatever. So yeah, it was a whole big thing. So I try not to get myself in any trouble.
Yeah, you don't want to do
Anyway, yeah, we gotta do it for free.
that.
So that's why I do it for free too. So you know, and then people also know, like, because there's a lot of people that try to scam people. Even my
Yeah.
Scott in the chat, he was like, you know, he messaged me one day, hey, this lady said she could do a reading for this much. I'm like, are you nuts? Don't give that lady no money. You know, I had back in the day, I would have these fortune tellers, or, you know, gypsies or whatever you wanted to call them. I'd have them stop me on the street. Do you know you have somebody with you? And I'm like, yeah, it's my dead. I would tell them it's my dead cousin. And I'd keep walking or whatever, you know, because I just knew they were trying to sucker you into money. I was young. I didn't have that much money anyway, but I was too cheap to spend it on that back then. But yeah, it's quite funny that, you know, they would try to sucker people in, and I guess gullible people might believe it, but that's why you put a cap on it, really. But you
So
remember to smash the like? Thank you.
you know,
Hey, Shire.
I dabbled in reading tarot cards for people for a while, way back in the day.
Fancy told me that you read tarot cards. Yeah.
Well, I don't do it now. I mean, I only it's been over 20. This was back in like 2001 or 2002, something like that. Do you remember that? Was it like Cleo, Madame Cleo, or whatever? What was she used to do those commercials?
Yeah.
And you could call a number, and then you would get your tarot done on your phone.
The 800 number that cost you 5 cents a second. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was one of those people that you would call because this is back. I was doing because I used to do background for movies. I was a background artist or whatever, an extra, and so I somehow I learned about someone had this number that said, hey, they're hiring. The Madame Cleo is hiring, and so call this number. And so I went ahead and called it, and they hired me, and I just did it from home, and I would do this like in the middle of the night. You just go in. Back then, I guess you just logged in on the phone. It wasn't on a computer or anything. I guess you just would go in. You go in on the phone, and then your phone was in their system, and then calls would start coming in. And I only did it for a few months, but I remember I had a tarot deck of cards. I made my own board, I think I got a big piece of construction paper, and I kind of made this board to kind of lay the cards out on. And I read a book. Oh yeah, I bought a book on how to read tarot.
Yeah.
And that's all I did. That's the only. So I wasn't an expert. I wasn't, And I only did it for a few months because I think I felt kind of guilty because I didn't want to be like leading people on like I was some expert or whatever.
Yeah. But the reason why she got away with that with the law is because it was clearly stated this is for entertainment purposes only.
Yeah.
And so you called knowing that you were getting a bunch of shit, it was just for fun,
Yeah. But a lot of people would call, like I said, it was like in the middle of the night when I would log in. And I would get people from all over the country calling in. And I think basically these are like lonely people who just, because I would be on the phone for like sometimes 2 hours with somebody, and so they spend a lot of money. I think for them it was like therapy or something because
Yeah.
um, uh, I would get these callers that would, and apparently they liked what I was saying, and I was trying to be as sincere as I could and give a good reading of what I thought was, the cards were saying, and it was kind
Yeah.
of interesting though. People, I didn't have anyone say no, that's not true. A lot of people were like, oh yeah, that makes sense or whatever. So I was trying my best to give a good my interpretation of what I was seeing,
Yeah.
and we had really good conversations, and people really. I don't know. I think a lot of people just like to talk, and it's like therapy, kind
Well,
of in a way.
well, you might have been helping more people than you know just from not from that, because I'm telling you, they knew that what you're reading in the cards is not true, right? It's because it says for entertainment purpose only. So they really were calling just to talk to somebody, and then they got their money's worth because they got someone nice to talk to, you know? So,
Yeah. So yeah, I just did that for a few months, but I thought it was really interesting. I thought it was kind of cool, like to see how the cards would lay out, and then you try to you try to connect everything or
yeah,
whatever. It's been a long time, so I don't really remember all the ins and outs of it. But
yeah.
I remember, I think they send you a book. I think when I got hired, or they tell you to go buy this book or something. I don't know. I went and bought this book on tarot reading, because I didn't want to just be going into a cold.
Oh, yeah.
But that was the extent of it. I think I did it for like 3 or 4 months, and then I
Yeah.
stopped doing it.
Well, and
I started getting busy on other stuff. So.
yeah. I started, I started where I would just like really ask the spirits for help with the cards. But now, like the cards, I'm like, okay, and they'll throw a few out. But because I can now, I honed myself to hear them and to see things in my head. I told them, no, I want to try to give people a personal little message, not only what's on the cards, Um, and so for the last year and a half, I've really been practicing that, and now I'm really pretty good at hearing what they say as a little message. And a lot of times the people are like, the cards were okay, but yeah, that message was right on. And I'm like, well, I totally listen to them. And it's hard because I'll read with a whole bunch of cards, like different cards. So if you're a spirit guide, right, one day you say, Christina, I want a reading. And I never met your spirit guide before, right? And I'm like, okay, what's your name? And okay, what do you want to read? And usually the first time they're like something closest to the original tarot, and I'll pull out mine. They don't know exactly what they say because each deck is a little different, right? So I tell people, the cards is as close as they can kind of get because, you know, each deck is different and they say different things. And if you don't know me and you have never been to my house, you don't know what that deck says. I've had plenty of them. The card falls out, and I'm like, okay. And then they're like, no, no, not that one. And I'm like, okay. And then I shuffle again.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah,
Yeah, I remember I dabbled in that. I remember I even read a book on runes, and I had some little runes, little stones,
oh yeah, I have
and
a gorgeous set.
I just read a book on it, and I bought the runes, but I never really got into that. But
Yeah,
I think I had this little period of time where I was kind of checking out these type of things.
yeah. Well,
I don't know.
Cassie sent me beautiful runes. If I want an in-depth reading, I'll use the in-depth runes. But for online, I made my own witches runes. And they're like, there's like 8 of them plus like a blank and a question mark one or whatever. And so they're way easier to read for online because sometimes I have 18 readings. It takes a lot of energy. So um, 18, and I try to keep the live stream to 3 hours, but so people don't have to wait so long. They come in, they put their name on the list, I write the list, and then if you put your one last, or if you came in 5 minutes after the start, you have to wait 3 hours for your reading, because I'm like, yeah, you can come back because it's not gonna be till around. Because it takes, I give everybody a reading like the same. I don't try to rush anybody. So
Right.
I keep saying I would put in 2 days, but the problem is I just don't have the energy to do 2 days because I also do crossovers for the spirits, and I do that 4 days a week. So between the readings, the crossovers, anything in between that spirits need help with, people who message me randomly, I really need your help. Can you tell me this? And I have to connect with their spirit guide, my spirits. It takes energy. So I was like, there's no way I could do 2 days of card readings a week.
Yeah.
No. So, but yeah, but it's fun. I like it because I like to give the people the messages, but especially if they're going through a hard time. But yeah.
Right.
So that's what else I wanted to ask you, Mima. Um, I was gonna write you out a whole bunch of questions, and then I go, no, that sounds silly. We'll just take it like, al fresco. Is that how they say it? But but yeah. So we talked about um UFOs, but have you had any paranormal, something or supernatural, like come across an animal you couldn't explain what the heck it was, or see something you didn't know what it was besides UFO, kind of like
uh,
on the other
no, but
side of the paranormal?
I can remember when I was a kid. When I was about 12, we lived in this house, and I remember my mom and I would be in the living room, and we'd be watching TV, and then all of a sudden we would just both look at each other, and we would go, like, "Did you feel that?" And we weren't even, we're just watching TV, and then at the same time we would just go, "Did you like?" It's like we could feel something, and it was usually like coming from the hallway, which is like right behind us. It felt like somebody was coming down the hallway, but there was nobody else in the house. Like my dad would be at work. It was just me and my mom,
Right.
and we were like, "That's creepy." I remember getting creeped out in this one house all the time, where it felt like someone was in the house, but it was just the two of us. But so I remember that when I
Oh
was
yeah.
about 12. That was pretty weird. Um, and I do remember. Now this is kind of weird. And I think I may have seen a ghost of a dead kid that I saw die. I saw him die. I was this was in the early '90s. I was driving to go visit my folks, and it was about 60 miles away. It's all desert, right, where I live. So I was one day. Well, I was coming home from visiting my parents. That's why I was coming home, and there was these kids. They're like teenagers, like. They had been joyriding. They didn't even have their license, and their car broke down. They were like 15, 16 years old. They didn't have a license, I remember. And they had been joyriding, and the car broke down. So I stopped to help them, to help get their car started. And when I did that, this car came by, another car came by, and sideswiped us, and it hit one of the kids and killed him right in front of
Oh.
me. And he died right there. And I remember, and then I would drive past that way because that was the way to go to my parents' house to go visit. So over the years, I passed through that way, and I could swear to God, like if it was nighttime, at nighttime, I would see a person walking down the road, and it just looked like that kid. And I don't know if that's just my mind playing, my mind, because maybe I had a little PTSD from it, or whatever. But
Right.
I would see this image of this kid walking on the side of the road, like coming towards me. And I remember seeing that, and that was the same spot where he died. I don't know if that was a ghost. I don't know if that was my mind just playing tricks on me or what. But that always felt really, really creepy. And
Yeah.
then it went away after a while. after a few years, then that I didn't see it anymore. You know, but
Well, that
you
could
know,
be because the somebody finally had the wherewithal to cross the boy over.
uh,
You know,
yeah,
because a lot of times, especially when you're killed suddenly, like you're not expecting to die, right? You're standing on the side of the road watching somebody help you with the car, and all of a sudden you're like, where am I? You know, like
right,
sometimes
right,
people don't realize they're deceased, so they will do the same thing, like walking. He could have been walking there all the time. You didn't see him all the time because, well, you weren't driving on that road all the time, right? And then
right.
somebody like me would finally come across and be like, sweetie, you want to go somewhere better than this or whatever. You try to talk to them. And most
Yeah.
people who know anything about this, and then you try to get them to cross over so that they're at peace. Hey, Regina. So, and hello to anybody if I missed you and I didn't say hello. Welcome in. So, finally, somebody probably like, I remember my spirit guide telling me one time there's this little boy crying on the side of the road over there for a long time. Can you go and see the little boy? So I'm like, at that time, I couldn't really see or hear spirits without like an app or using my rods or, whatever. Yes or no questions and asking different things. Um, so I was like, well, I'm going to go by there. You guys got to talk him into coming with us so we can cross him because I can't see him. Like, um, yes, I started off with just like weird, like, we're gonna, you're gonna tell me the letters of the alphabet. Like I had the alphabet in different colors, and I was like, okay, your name starts with a red letter or a purple letter, or, and this is how I would write their names with my pendulum and stuff because I couldn't hear them. Now, okay, now we had to train ourselves, but at first, and everybody's like, how could you just talk to them by yourself? Get out the alphabet. You could do it. It's not, if you really need something, take out the alphabet in different colors. They have plenty of pictures online, or you could draw one, get like 5 colors and put, different ones at different colors, and then hold your pendulum up and be like, does your name start with a blue letter or with a red letter? So you know who you're talking to and whatever. And eventually you're going to get their name. You're going to get their, whatever else. It will take long, but you'll get it. So, but
So do
that's
you
how I
do
start.
Ouija board?
No, no.
No, I've never done that either.
I don't do the Ouija board because it takes a lot to close the Ouija board. Like, and if you leave it open, you're creating a little portal that you don't want open. So it's easier to like close like an app, an electronic thing, because you're closing the energy to it. So I rather use like a phone app to be like, hey, can you manipulate this and draw pictures with the AI to show me something and this and that, than use because that once you turn off that program and say, okay, this session's done, you close that. The energy's gone, the phone's off, you turn the phone off, it cuts the connection. The Ouija board, there's no way you say goodbye. Do they have to listen to you? No. You called them to your house already. Now they don't have to leave if they don't fucking want to. There's no way to close that really. So I don't mess with that. I use my pendulum, which is, you know, you're using the pendulum. I'm talking to my spirit guide. I used to use the spirit rods, which that got crazy because like all different people could talk on the spirit rods. People would jump on and I'd be like, who are you? Because you could feel the energy change and the different energy. And I was like, no, I didn't like that. And that's when I'm like, I got to learn how to kind of hear them because this is too much. Like, I never know who I'm talking to. Like, and I want to know that I'm talking to my spirit guide or this, that. And then I had to do different things. Like, I made all the ones that I like to talk to different pendulums. And I'm like, you only use this pendulum. Nobody else could use it, you know? And like I started doing things like that so that I'm like, no, you know, you know. Um, no. But that now I can hear them, so it doesn't matter. Like now they just talk my ear off all day until I answer them. And it's not really talking, it's funny because it will be like static in your ear, and then if they're really yelling at you, 'cause sometimes they'll yell, they get annoyed, right, that you're not talking to them. My eardrum will twist inside my ear, "Hey, AL," and I'll be like, "Stop that." I'm like, "You gotta wait till I'm ready." Like, I can't talk to spirits all day. People gonna think I'm nuts. You know, I'm by myself besides my son is here sometimes, you know, but still, you'll go crazy talking. I don't know, it'd be weird. Just talk to spirits all day long, you know.
Uh,
So I have to have, you know, a time to do it, you know. If I create a time for myself, okay, spirit work is at this time, we cross at this time, and that's it, you know, unless there's an emergency, my guides will know, you know. But other than that, like
so what
I'm
do they
on
say to you? What do the
most of
spirits
the
say?
time they want to know, can I help them to cross, or um they want to give a message to somebody I know, or they just want somebody to understand their story. There's all different things. Like, you know, some of them are like a little one today asked me, like I did a crossover before the stream because I would usually do it after on Thursdays, but because I knew we were going to go later, I'm like, no, I'll be tired after the stream. So I said I'm going to do it right before. And so this little one, he was 6. He was like, I'm gonna stay here. Like, yeah, okay. Because I have toys for them, like little toys. Like in my area, people will put like bags of toys or different things on their fence and put free, like their kid grew out of it and they don't want to throw it out. So like people go by and you take one toy and you bring it home. So I have cars and fairies and stuffies and all sorts of anyway, it's for them. So you know, to play with. So I have toys, and every night when I go to sleep, I put on a movie, for a kids movie. Hey, Face of Ace. I put on a kids movie and let it play. I fall asleep. And I don't mind sleeping with the TV on, so that they watch a show or cartoon, whatever they want. Sometimes they'll request like Batman or Tom and Jerry or whatever. Other times I just put on like 5 hours of Goosebumps and let that play from Nickelodeon, you know, or whatever. So yeah, they watch movies here. So I have a lot of kids, about 75 right now. 75 children that are not ready to cross. And the reason why they don't cross is because maybe their parents aren't deceased yet. So they don't want to go to the other side alone with somebody they don't know because they're 6, 7, you know, 4, you know. So I have one 4-year-old, I have a 5-year-old. Most of them though are 7 to 15 in that age range, but and then I have a few older 19s, 20. But for the most part they're younger, you know, and yeah, they don't want to go to the other side when they don't know anybody. So they're waiting. They're waiting here till somebody goes to the other side and then they'll cross.
And so they come in contact with you because you open the portal with the pendulum or whatever.
Believe it or not, now you know how most of them come. Before it was random, like I would find them on the street or a thrift store or something. When I went into a thrift store, there's always things that belong to the kids in the thrift store. Um, those kind of places. Now, most of them come from people online. I could talk to I went to watch a lady telling me that she was showing you a mop. She was reviewing a mop, and I was looking at the mop, She moved her bed and everything. And all of a sudden I had this spirit here and he's like, oh, I saw you through this thing. I was at the lady's house with the mop. And I'm like, now this was a taped video, John. But because I'm watching, so I'm watching, right? I'm leaving an energy print. That spirit was in that room while she was vacuuming. He left his energy print. When they came into contact, he could see me. People say that people like me who a gatekeeper can cross them, have a certain color that they could see, like an energy. So they come. When I do readings, and now the spirit guides know me from the people I read every week, they come and drop them off. They're here. Here's some for you. So most of them come from people's spirit guides or things that even an article. I read an article about the French Revolutionary War, and here I have all these guys at first, because it was a little after I read it. I guess one of them kind of checked it out. Then they're all like, "Come." All of a sudden, I had all these guys with these red hats, and I go, "What are these red hats?" Because when I was reading the article, it didn't tell me they all wore these little red berets. When you think of a war or something, you're thinking of, armor or something, right? So, but they had all these red berets. I'm like, why does everybody have these red berets on? I didn't realize no, we come from the French Revolution. I'm like, oh, I'm glad I read that story. you know, um,
So
wherever
you can actually see them. Or you see them.
only if they send me the picture telepathically. So a lot of times, especially, when you go to someone's house, you announce yourself, right? Knock, knock, I'm here. It's me, Christina. Well, basically, they'll come in, and a lot of them will either try to talk at first, but sometimes I can't hear them. Either A, I'm not listening at that point, I'm doing something else, or I don't hear them because we're not on the same frequency, because everybody carries a different frequency too. So then I'll get a picture in my head. And so when I do the crossover, when I'm actually sitting there channeling, doing the crossover, they'll send me all these pictures, like,
Wow.
and so I'll see this, I'll see that. And I go, wow, sometimes they'll touch me, they'll tap me. I had a lady wanted to talk to me. I was like, okay, I'm going to go to the bathroom, then I'll be back. I sat on the toilet bowl. She pulled my hair. I was like, what the like, so yeah, that was crazy.
Wow. So not everyone can do this. This is just some people are, like you say, gatekeepers or whatever.
Yes. So like a lot of mediums don't, like, I just assumed that all mediums can cross over spirits. So when I first met my first child spirit that they really wanted to cross, and I'm like, that's okay. We're gonna find who does it, and I'm gonna get it done, right? We're gonna do a call with them, whatever it takes. Man, I went through like people that had books and all this stuff. I'm like, this one's a medium. They're like, no, no, no. I mean, I must have went through. I'm like, well, who the hell could do you have a name? I'm getting out the alphabet now. You're gonna tell me who could cross you. I'm gonna get them to cross you. They're like, no, no, you're gonna do it. I'm like, me, no. How am I gonna do it? The first spirit child that I was so intent on helping that I got this little doll from the thrift store, and she was attached to it. It was her doll. Anyway, she taught me how to cross over spirits. She was like um a telepathic, like probably in life. She died in the 1920s in an automobile accident, whatever they had in the 20s there. I don't know. But so she taught me, and I think the reason why she was able to teach me is because I think there's a certain amount of people that just are gatekeepers in the world, right? And like, I can teach you, let's say, if you wanted to learn, then if I'm teaching you and putting my energy into it, I'm giving you a key. So I think she, even though she was young, she was 8, she was supposed to be a gatekeeper. She passed. When she taught me, she like passed me a key, you know? And so it works like that. So not everybody can do it, but somebody can teach you, just like somebody can teach you how to be a shaman, or, you know, a guru or something, you know, or a, a, a druid. If you're taught by somebody who can do it, then you could do it, you know? So
So, what do you think of these movies like Ghost? You know, stuff like that. It kind of reminds me of
no,
Ghost.
I laugh, and I like watching them. Don't get me wrong, I like watching them, but from what I understand, like I love that show, and the Spirits, and I watch it now. The new season's starting October 14th, so I can't wait. It's just called Ghosts, and it's on. There's two. There's one that's on BBC, and there's one that's on like ABC or whatever. I watch it on Paramount anyway because I don't have TV. But I have the Paramount Plus app, and I watch it there. So, so it's just called Ghosts, and so like it's funny, they still have this crazy notion, and somebody said it, and now all the ghost shows do it, and I'm like, can't you do some damn research? Like, talk to a spirit, they're going to tell you that's wrong. There's none of this, oh my god, you have like something you have to do that you don't know about, and once you do it, you're going to automatically get crossed over and the light's going to come. That's not how it works. You could have unfinished business, but the light, once you miss the light, once you don't go into it, you need someone like me who's living gatekeeper to cross you over, or you need, because there are like crossroad spirits, they call them, that will travel and cross you if you need. And plus there's guardians at the cemetery that can cross you. They go like, there's a certain amount of them. There's only a handful, and you wait, and they go around. Let's say each one has 500 cemeteries or whatever. They go around, and when they get to your cemetery, they'll cross everybody who's at the cemetery and wants to cross. And that's how it goes, you know, but it's not instant, you know. But so they have those, you know, those few things there, you know. If you miss it, then the problem is a lot of people, because like the cemetery guardian and the cross road spirit that will cross you, they are, how do I say it? They're entities that were not human, of human form. They're divine, let's say. I don't know. They were never human. So they're not always like, if you are especially a child, right? And you see this thing that you don't know, you're not leaving with that thing, you know. And a lot of other people, even my age, you don't understand anything, you're not, they run from the crossroads spirit, so they rather cross with me, you know. I mean, at one time I was crossing like 20,000 spirits every 4 days, and I was like, no, we can't, like the energy was, I'm like, I can't do this. Like, so I had to put a little note on the door,
20,
like, yeah, 20,000. I did with my friend at the time. She had spirits to cross over, and I'm like, okay, we'll do a call, and I'll cross over the spirits from me, my house, and your house. She's like, okay, great. She was in PA. I'm here. I crossed 21,000 something spirits that day, and I said, no, that's too much.
Wow.
It's too much. Oh, Jolie, yes. I do love those shows too, but a lot of them are just fun. Like, they're funny because, like, oh, he kissed the girl, and then because he kissed the girl and that's all he wanted to do, he was sucked up to the light automatically. I'm like, oh my God, please. You know, get some facts straight. I should write a ghost show. I don't know if anybody would watch it though, but
Yeah, well,
I need to get with Netflix, and we need to make like a real, you know. And then at one point I was like so mad about like what the church was teaching that I'm like, I'm gonna open a church.
Well, I was just gonna ask
I'm gonna teach real stuff, like, you know.
I was going to ask you what do you think about religion? Because I've gotten to the point where I'm pretty much an agnostic, and I pretty much I was raised in a church as a kid and grew up in a church, and I haven't gone to church in decades. I'm not into it, and I think most
Right.
of it is just I think most of the churches we have are they're just money making organizations, and but so
Right.
knowing what you know and seeing what you've seen, and what does that make you think about religion and the afterlife? And
Well,
apparently it's real. I don't even know. I've been thinking it's not even real. It's that when we die, we're
oh,
just done. That's it.
well, and I tell people because people will tell me that, well, I'm an atheist. So you're talking about spirituality. I said, you could be an atheist. I was there. I was like so close. I'm sorry, it got hot, so I'm gonna take off my sweatshirt. I do have another shirt on if I don't end up just stripping for YouTube. Okay. Anyway, sorry.
Let's not get taken down
I
off
think we
the
managed to not take off any nobody saw any boob. Anyway, so I when after my mother passed, the way she did and whatever, I was just so done that I was like, no, all this shit is fake. Like God doesn't exist because I can't imagine he'd do any of this. Like I really went off on a tangent and I was not having none of it. And then I told you my son started. Oh, you weren't here in the beginning, but I was telling some of your viewers that came to see me how I kind of got started a little. And I said, like, my son was seeing things and hearing things, and the school wanted to have him committed. And I told them, so I said to my son, and he was around 10, 9, 10 or something. And I said, no, come on, we're going to go. We're going to go. I know what it is. It's ghosts. You know, so the only thing I could think of, right, that would make the kid not crazy. He's seeing ghosts,
Right,
And,
right.
so I told him, come on, we're going to go to I took him, I gave him a camera at 10, 9, 10. I took a camera and I said, come on, we're going to the most haunted place in Long Island and we're going to talk to the ghosts and they're going to talk to you. And then you're going to know that it's just the ghost. Cause he was like, there's no such thing as ghosts. People say, I said, no, they don't know. What do you think you're talking to? Do you think you're crazy? He's like, I don't know. Am I? I go, no, it's ghosts. It's fine. People die and then they hang out, I took him to this haunted place and I'm telling you, did the ghosts perform that day? The spirits, I should say spirits because they're not ghosts. There's so many there's different terms for different things. Like there's spirits. The ghosts are like more like residual when they don't interact. It's just like something playing over and over, like residual energy and stuff. It's not intelligent. It won't interact with you because it's just like a tape recorder playing because it got stuck in like a time loop or something. So that's a ghost, like a ghost in the machine. It's just like those are ones that are not intelligent that you could just see, like ghost trains that will go with, it's just a train. Like those are inanimate objects. They can't interact with you. They're just replaying like a recorder, right? So those kind of things are ghosts. The train is a ghost because it's not really there. It's just like, stuck in a loop from like, residual energy. But spirits are, people that passed. So yeah, but we went to there. I played back. It was the first time where I ever heard like disembodied voices, they call it. I was hearing people talk and there was nobody in this place, right? And I was like, I don't freaking understand. And I said to my son, did you hear that lady answer me? He's like, there's nobody here. I didn't hear anything, right? And then I was like, do you see? I was crazy in this place. I was like, to my son now, like I said, he was like 9 or 10. I was like, do you see they're throwing shit at us? He's like, just a tree dropping. Like he was so like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like I was freaking nuts, right? Until he caught on film a little spirit with antlers, okay? when I played back that tape for him, what we filmed, first of all, you could tell when we sat down that somebody was throwing the same rock all around us. And there was a disembodied voice of a lady that said, God, why me? You could hear it so freaking clear on the video, but there was nobody there. And we didn't hear that one with my ears. I heard another one, but um, and then on his film, he caught that little spirit with antlers. And when he looked at it, he goes, oh, there are animals that are spirits that just stay here. I'm like, oh yeah, animals, they don't know to go to heaven, whatever I was telling him when he was 9. And he's like, okay, no problem. And he went back to school all fine. I never had a problem with him again. I was like, these fuckers are just walking around and talking to me. Like, but why do they need help? Like, I went totally like, oh no, I have to find out what's going on. And so, yeah, that's how I started
So
doing all this.
you just used like a regular camera or whatever?
Hi,
How did
Kevin.
that...
Oh yeah. Most of my best footage was caught on my little Motorola phone here. I don't even have an Apple.
Wow.
Oh yeah. If you just go even to my I want to say to my opener on my channel, when you go to my channel, isn't there like an opener? Like I can't see it because of course it's not going to show me my own opener, but I'm pretty sure there's like an opener when you go to the home page or something. If you hit that opener, if you really look at that video, all those like myths and different things that you see in the opener is stuff that I caught on tape myself. So, yeah, AL, they really try to make it simple. Yeah, but so, oh, I caught an apparition walking. Like, I couldn't believe that one was crazy. The one that looks like bubbles, like I said, it's in my opener. I caught that one at a psychiatric place, was that Kings Park? No, that was Pilgrim State. And he was just literally walking. And I just had spun the camera because my boyfriend was pissing me off, and my boyfriend at the time, and he didn't want to stay there any longer. And I would just turn. I didn't even notice the spirit walking, and I caught the spirit walking on film. And so after I started catching all these things on film, John, and looking at them, I was like, this shit is all real. And that's when I started asking questions, and I'm like, look, I want to. And once that little girl asked for help, and then she taught me how to help her, I said, no, I got to help all the babies, right? And now I'm like, I don't know, the mama bear spirit, the mama bear of the spirit world. So whenever there's a kid, like I'm like, no, bring the kid here. He could stay here. So we protect them because I have a guardian now because I do so much with the spirit world. But thank goodness for the protector. So he keeps the bad stuff out so that the kids are safe here. So we have our little bubble. So I have all these kids, waiting for when they're ready, and they're here and they're safe. And because when you're out there as a spirit, and I try to tell people this, they're like, well, when you're dead, nothing, it's fine, you're dead. No, because there are bad things out there that are not of this world, like different. There's spirits that were never human spirits. And I'm not talking everybody wants to go to demons, but there's other things that are not demons. They're just different beings that we don't know about. Anyway, and I've seen a lot of them. Like, I guess maybe some would be cryptids, but a lot of them we don't even know about, and the spirits don't talk about every damn thing there is. But like, so there's different things. Let's say race and stuff like that, So these will like steal your energy. There's bad ones that will like literally steal your energy. Well, as a spirit, just like as a person, once your energy or life force is drained, what happens? You die. So even as a spirit, you can have your energy drained, and then you're not your. It's part of something else. Then you know. So you're part of this big, powerful guy. He like sucks all your energy. Like I don't know, like he's an energy vampire, like kind of thing. Let's say. So it's not good to just be hanging out. That's why I always tell people like that don't want to cross right away. I'm like, no, don't. I'm telling you, you can cross and then come back. And he's like, can you come back? I'm like, of course. You cross so that you have that safety net to go back to in case you run into one of those things. And automatically, according to the spirits, I can only tell you what they say, John. You're like their time is different, but let's think about like 72 hours around 72 hours, they get pulled back to like energize and make sure they're okay. And then they leave and go do their thing again. So they can hang out here, go back and forth, whatever. So yeah, it's sorry, I'm getting a little do you have your mic? I'm like must be a little close to your mic because I'm kind of getting feedback all of a sudden.
Well, my AC kicked on. I don't know if that has anything to do with it or.
Oh, you moved it. Now it's better. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, I was really all of a sudden getting like major feedback. I'm like, what's going on? Once you moved the camera, you're better now.
Is that better? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I moved over because I wanted to plug my phone in case to the cord and the cord wouldn't reach. So I kind of moved everything over a little bit.
That's okay.
And but let me know if you hear anything.
You're still using the AC? Jeez, it's chilly over here. I had my sweatshirt on. I mean, now I'm in the house, so it got a little better. But you know, I had to go get a prescription. That's better. Thank you, Jolie. Yeah, all of a sudden I was like, what the heck is going on? But yeah, so then.
So you say they cross over and they come back.
Oh yeah. You like when people say your grandma came to visit you. Yeah, they do. What so you don't have to stay up there.
Do they say what's on the other side? Do they tell you what's on the other? Everyone wants to know. All of us living people, we all want to know what is there. Yeah, what's on the other side.
They don't really tell you. They just tell you there's places. Okay, so they don't describe them. But like I want to say from how they described it, it's like, okay, so when you first cross, you have a waiting room. There's like a waiting room. And I was actually there once in a dream because I went to visit my mother. Funny enough, I was trying to visit my mother anyway, but I was in the waiting room in my dream, and the lady's like, okay, so why are you here exactly? Like where? And I'm like, oh, I'm going to see my mother. Now, my mother's been deceased since 2012, 2013. In my dream, I'm in this room trying to see my mother, right? And she's like, oh no, you're not supposed to be here. And I'm like, excuse me? She's like, you're not supposed to be here yet. You got to come back another time. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I just want to see my mother. I know she went through that door, and she's like, yeah, but you can't go through the door. Like trying to, like, I didn't realize, of course, in my dream, but it was a dream, right? My mother came to see me. I went to a party, all this stuff. Well, in my dream, I followed my mother, I guess, when I shouldn't have, when she was going back to, and I ended up in the waiting room. When I cross people, the spirits told me it opens up and they all go to the waiting room and the lady's there like a receptionist and okay, you got to go to purgatory. Sorry, like what they call purgatory. I guess it's like a long stint in another room off to the side of this waiting room because you're not good enough to go to heaven, but you're not bad enough to go anywhere else, right? So there's definitely the three they explained to me. But hell is not what you think it is. It's basically like a jail to reform spirits. Um, it's not like no crazy you're gonna burn and this is not any of this craziness. Okay. However, time does run way slower in hell, so you feel like you've been there a long damn time. Which is the only thing that's really bad about it, because you're like, shit, I can't go anywhere, I can't see anybody because you're in jail, right? But basically, that's what it is. And this is why I said I would like to run a church, John. This is how we got on this, because like they say, oh, the devil is, Lucifer and that. No. I don't know what they're talking about. After I don't know how many spirits I've spoken to and all this, and they're like, no, like the guy who takes care of, I'm gonna call him the jail warden, because that's what he is. You're bad, you gotta go to jail, right? So when you're in the jail, you have a warden. The warden is not, Hannibal Lecter. The warden is a regular nice guy, who has to take care of the prisoners. It's just a spirit, a divine spirit who takes care of freaking hell. It's no like crazy, thing, That's who it is. It's a regular guy. Not a guy, but a spirit. It's a regular spirit who takes care of like a jail warden. He's not bad, crazy devil. I don't know what they're talking about. This is not all fire and brimstone and all that shit. No, that's not how it works. But it is a jail, because when you do bad things, you have to go to jail. I mean, that's just I realize our modern day basically mirrors what goes on when you're past. Okay, you have a jail if you're bad. If you're in between, it's like purgatory would be like how could I explain it? It's like detention in school. It's not permanent detention, but it goes on for a few weeks depending on what you did. That's how purgatory is. Okay, that's what would be considered purgatory, but it's whatever they call it, something different. But that's there. You have the jail, and then you have this detention where you can't leave until you make up for whatever the heck it is that you're in detention for. And then you have everyday life. And kind of from what I understand from the spirits, depending on what number you pick. So I guess there's like different, it's cut into different sectors, heaven, and what we would call heaven, but basically it's just like so you could go to a city part, you could go to a pond, you could go to I guess like there's different, just like the world. You want to be in like Egypt. Okay, here's the Egypt section. You want to like, so there's different places you can go. You could be around a lot of people, or you could sit in a fucking boat by yourself. It just depends what you want to do when you get up there. Most people miss their loved ones who are here, so they go back and forth. They just go up there to energize, make sure they're fine. They make sure upstairs that they're fine, because they've been up, back and forth, and they go and they visit their loved ones. So yeah.
So I always wonder, like, okay, if when a person dies and their spirit leaves their body or whatever, like, is everyone naked? Because I don't know how your clothes go with you and stuff.
Well, basically, it's you. A lot of people try to argue with me with this, because they're like, you don't have a brain, your spirit. I'm like, your spirit is one big brain of learning and energy. Okay. Um, so you I talk to them, they know a lot of shit, the spirits, right? But anyway, it's what your I say your head, even though you don't have one, but it's what your spirit, when you die, you are looking exactly like you just are, because that's what you manifested, right? Because you have magic basically when you're a spirit. So you die and you're like, oh, so if you envision yourself that you can't have clothes, then you're not going to have any clothes. That's just how it's going to be. But most people, the first thing they envision is, and a lot of people are in their death state when I see them sometimes. And I'm like, you don't have to look like that. Think about a time that you looked your best. Think about it really hard, and that's what you're going to look like. And then they're like, oh, and then they figure out how to do it, and then they can look that way. So it's like a state of mind. I'm going to say the best way how you can understand it, but that's basically how it is. It's like you can manifest it, whatever you want. So I have a picture. I already picked out my picture. Don't get nuts. I already sent it to all my friends. I'm like, this is what I'm going to look like. So when you see this person, I know I'm very skinny there. I picked my best year when I was skinny. I had my hair the best. I was like, psh, if I looked like this every year of my life, I would have been in trouble. I'd probably be in jail. Who knows? But I sent that to everybody. I'm sorry, Jeff. I don't know. You're buffering. I think the rest of us are okay now.
He says he's in the buff. So,
Oh, he's in the buff. I thought he meant the circle that we were buffering, and I'm like, oh no. Anywho, I was like, I hope we're not buffering for everybody. Okay. The buff circle is not YouTube circle. Gotcha. But yeah, so it's funny because I totally lost my train of thought. Where were we up to? Tell me, John.
About envisioning.
Oh, if you're naked or not. Yeah, so I had the picture. It takes me 1 second to get back there. So I have this picture and I just show everybody, this is what I'm going to look like. So when you see me, that's me. Thank you, Josh. That's me. And, and they're like, yeah, okay. I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm going to look like. So you can pick the best part. So get a picture. So I can manifest it. As soon as I die, that's what I'm freaking looking like for the rest of my life. For the rest of my spirit time before either I'm reincarnated or,
Yeah, I was going to ask you, do you believe in reincarnation?
Well, the spirits say there is reincarnation. However, it doesn't happen as often as people make it out to be. And even though you have free will, you kind of don't have a choice on that one aspect. It's only if they need you to come back here for a reason or for your soul's learning or something. They say, okay, it's time to go back. Bye. That's the only one thing you have no say about, really, is if you have to go back because they need you to do something. I think most people do it willingly anyway, because, yeah, why the hell not? You're not going to remember anything anyway, until you die again, and then you remember everything because your soul learned it all. But yeah, that's the only thing, from what I understand, you can't just be like, yeah, I want to go back as a butterfly. No.
Right.
Shut up, Christina. You can't do any of that. You have to wait till they have something for you to do. Or for your soul, when your soul needs more learning, then, you go. So
the big question is there a God? When you cross over, do you meet God?
So just like from what and this is just from what they've told me, and I always say I believe it full-heartedly because it makes sense to me. That doesn't mean you know, you can't believe whatever you want, but it makes sense to me. And they told it to me, so I believe it. Because multiple, I didn't ask one. Every time, somebody who's like, oh yeah, I'm crossed, I just wanted to bring a friend over so you could cross them, I'm like, hey, can I ask you a question? Because different points of view, right? But from what I understand, there is just like I said, there's a warden in hell. There is a teacher who runs detention in purgatory. There is a divine being who was left in charge of heaven. I don't call that person God. I mean, you could, whatever, technically, he runs heaven. But like, how can I explain it? The way they showed it to me is like there's a creator. Okay, there was a creator. He created shit, but he's not here because he's creating more shit in the universe. Okay, that's how it goes. He goes around creating shit. That's who I would consider, but they call him the creator. That's who would you consider God, right? He created us. This guy who's up in heaven is that creator left these spirits. He left 4 spirits after he created us. He left 4 spirits in charge. Death, the guy who runs hell, the girl who runs purgatory, and the spirit who takes care of heaven. So there was those 4. He left here those divine spirits to watch over everything. And there's a creator who, I guess that would be who you would consider God. But he's not here hanging out because he's all over the universe creating other things. He didn't only create life, he created the stars and everything, and So, and that's from what I understand. And when they told me, it made so much more sense to me than what this crap they try to tell you in church. And that fact that I could keep asking and they keep all different spirits will tell me the same thing. I'm like, oh, well, then it just has to be like everybody, would they all get together, every spirit that I come across and I ask and they all got together to say the same shit? I don't know. Unless it's like something that they have to tell you, but I don't think so. I mean, it just and it sounds like that's something that makes sense, right? I mean,
well, I figured that if there is an afterlife, that it's not like anything that I've imagined. It's not like, because like the Bible.
hey, Autumn.
It's not like the Bible or whatever. I don't think any of our religions are really divine or from divine sources. I think they're all man-made, and so I guess if there is something, it's not going to be like anything I've imagined, probably.
Right.
That's the way.
Well, and would you imagine that really who created us is really an alien who goes around the universe creating other things? No. And that's what it is, basically. That's who created us,
Well,
and that wouldn't be like, the first thing you're going to be like, oh, when I pray, I'm praying to some alien. People don't want to hear that shit, but that's what it is,
Yeah.
Sorry,
Well, my belief has been that since there are, space and universe is so vast and it keeps expanding, it's almost an infinite number of stars and solar systems and universe. It's practically infinite.
Yeah.
So my belief is that odds are, because people will say, oh, it has to be like God in the sense of the Bible or whatever, with this divine thing. And my thought is, well, everything is so vast. You don't know. There could be something we've not even thought of.
Right.
That came from who knows how many trillions of years, light years away, and could have came here and found all the right elements to build what they needed to build. To build this earth,
Yeah.
to build life, to
Yeah.
build carbon-based
Hi,
life
Jackie.
forms. So
Right.
that's
Well,
why my belief is like anything is possible, but not everything is possible.
right.
you know.
But you're close. Like basically the creator goes around the universe creating things. So yeah, he came here from wherever he came from. And that's why he's not here. It's not like he could just pop and come back here. He's somewhere, who knows where in the universe. We don't fucking know. Building and creating, like you said. And there's just the few spirits that he left here to watch the place. And then they made other spirits to help because as we grew as a community, they needed more help, right? So now there's reapers because, death couldn't take care of everything. And that's why there's people like us who are gatekeepers because they can't keep up with all this people who don't want to go and all this stuff. They can't leave portals open so people can jump through because anything can get through that they don't want to, right? Because like I said, there are things that are not like cryptid kind of things. There's things that are not human that you don't want getting through these portals, right? So you can't leave them open. So yeah, so that's the gist of it. But so you're basically right. Yeah, it's an alien came, created us, hit the road, left in good hands with these spirits that he created to watch us, and that's it. Basically, we're a science experiment, and we're probably failing. But it is what it is. There is an afterlife. You are gonna learn. You could be a ghost, or you could be a whatever you want. When you die. So there you go.
So I wonder how many spirits there are, because like we have 8 billion people on the planet now. So there must be billions of spirits, maybe.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna just for a crazy example. Remember when I told you like there was a time when I was crossing over so many. So within 5 years, I have crossed over 1,000,000+ spirits that were here that had never went to the light. Now that's not including, of course, ones that go back and forth all the time. So just imagine you have ones that come back and forth to see their family. Plus you have all these ones. And I mean, some of these spirits, like from the French Revolutionary War, there was kids from 1840 that fell and hit their head and died and been hanging out ever since. Like literally so many spirits from every different time, that's why I was so interested, because when I just would take a video and see all these spirits on video, I was like, what the hell is going on? Like, why is there so many spirits just hanging out like in this tennis court? For like I was walking by this tennis court and I hear this voice go, hey, and I turn around and I'm like, what in the world? Like, so I went back there to kind of like film and try to talk to them. And I got a spirit box I was so excited about, right? And this big ass spirit came and flew right into the camera. Like, that's another one that's on there. And I'm filming this with my phone. And when I see this, I go, what in the world? And a lot of people are like, can you see it with your eyes? I'm like, do you know how fast it is? Like, when you have to watch this on playback, you have to slow it down because they're so fast. By the time your eye catches it, that's why you see sometimes you go, oh, I saw something out of the corner of my eye, but nothing's there. Something was there. You just can't. They move so fast. You can't process it.
Right.
But they're there. Oh yeah, because you can catch them. The film will catch them. And that's why I recommend people, you just gotta film it. And it doesn't matter with what. If they want to show themselves, they're gonna show themselves in the day on whatever camera you got will catch it. Um,
So like I could
phones.
just take my phone and just start walking around and I might see something.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
wow.
shit. Go to the cemetery and just walk slow with your phone. There's one to be bound walking. I went to the cemetery the last time. That's where the 4-year-old was, Edmund. Anyway, I was walking and I was with my boyfriend came from Canada to visit for 2 weeks. And I said, I want to go this way. He's like, all right, I'm going to go this way. I said, okay. So I walk by this way. I go, something is calling me. I have to go back over there. When you just get a feeling you have to do something, I said, I got to go over there. He's like, all right. So I go over there. I'm walking in the baby section. I hear, Mama, Ma. And I'm like, I didn't realize I was in the baby section. I'm like, do you hear this kid calling mommy? I'm filming. You can hear him on the film say mommy. And when I then walked a few steps, I'm like, oh, I'm in the baby section. I said, I know where that mommy's coming from. And I hit I said, I got to walk over here now because it's unnerving, even though I'm so used to it. When when it's in real time like that, where I heard it, I see where I am. I'm like, oh shit. I'm going to walk over this way. But Edmund came home with us. He calls it the stone place, but he didn't know where to go, poor thing. But anyway, that's what happens. So you might hear a disembodied voice and you're like, oh, what is that? I hear nothing. When you play back your camera and listen with headphones, you'll hear all sorts of shit wasn't said when you were there.
I'm gonna try
It's
that.
crazy. I was doing just a historical vlog. I literally, when I first started, was doing historical vlogs. And I was walking and doing this historical vlog down the oldest street in Bayshore. And all of a sudden I hear someone say, next! And I turn 360 with the phone everywhere. It was so close to the mic. You knew it had to be somebody standing there. It couldn't be from across the street, a car or something. Like it was so close to the mic. And it was so close to me. I knew the person had to be right there. And I'm like, what the fuck? Hello? And you could hear it as clear as day and I spun all around. You could see I was the only one there. And you could
Wow.
hear that person say that on the thing. And like people are like, I love when people, well, you could fake that. I go, you could. I mean, I film on my phone. So, I mean, I guess you could take it. I have the original. Somebody can look at it. It's not edited. I said, but who the hell, out of all the things to fake, why the fuck would I fake some guy's weird ass voice saying next? you know, if I'm gonna fake something, I'm gonna make some crazy ass spirit or something. What the fuck? I'm gonna make a voice in the street, like, you know what I'm saying? But to me, that shit was crazy because I heard it with my ears. I caught it on tape. There was nothing fucking there. So.
And I think there are experts that they can test your video see if it's had things edited to it or whatever. I mean,
Oh yeah.
It could be verified, I think, for
authenticity.
authenticity.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's raw. Like I said, I just film with my phone. All of it's raw from my phone.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty fascinating. So I guess since you're more like of a what do you call it, gatekeeper or whatever, maybe you have more of a propensity to catch that stuff. Like if I did it, I have a feeling I wouldn't really catch anything if I was filming.
Let me tell you something. And this was another thing, because funny enough, when I first went out there with my son, I went out there with the premise, and intentions speak volumes, because your spirit guides hear you. Okay, everybody has a spirit guide, at least one, but most people have more than one. They'll have like 2 spirit guides, and maybe a bloodline guide, and maybe an animal guide. Okay, so so you at least have 2. If your intention is You really, really want to talk to your guides. You really want guidance. You want to find your spirituality. You want to find your path. If you have that and you're genuine, they'll show you. Because I went to that thing saying, gosh, please let something happen on camera so that my son sees it or hears it and he doesn't have this problem and he goes back to school and I don't have any more problems with him.
Right. Right.
It was like, like that's what I was like, please let something happen. At that point, I didn't have no kind of connection to anything. I was like borderline atheist, like I said.
Right.
I literally was like, hey, um, please, like I said out loud, thinking I don't know who I was talking to. I was like, please, hey, listen, if they're spirits, can you do something when we go out there so they don't send my son to the funny farm? Because I think he's seeing ghosts, right? I'm talking to the air, but I was like, really, like, that was my thought. Like, please let the kid be fine and he's just seeing ghosts or whatever, animal spirits. And so much stuff happened, John, that it was unbelievable. And then I was just like, I have to find out more. And he was fine. He couldn't give a shit after that, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
still sometimes he'll see things and hear things and things will happen to him. The other day he was walking, and he doesn't see it a lot, but the other day he was walking up back from the store and he looked up. My sister and my aunt live on the corner of my block. And he looks up, and where my sister's balcony window is, somebody waved to him. So he waved, right? Says, hi. He thinks it's my sister. He can't see because the door is closed and she has like a light filter over it so people can't see right into her house, even though it's on the second floor. So he waves and he's walking, and then he hits the back of the house, and my sister is sitting outside in the backyard having some tea, and he goes, who's in the house? And she's like, what are you talking about? He's like, who's up in your house? Somebody just waved to me. And she's like, there's nobody in the fucking house. You're as crazy as your mother. He's like, whatever. And he keeps walking, you know, but he can see them too. If they want you to see them, you'll see them. There's just no doubt about it. And this doesn't happen often, but whoever that person was wanted my son to see them.
Wow.
You know, and so I think it was maybe like, you know, maybe my mother was visiting my sister and it was my mother waving to him, you know, his grandmother. So,
wow.
You know, could be possible, but these things happen, you know, and a lot of people have these experiences, and, you know, it doesn't scare me. It's just weird. Right.
I always wonder about if when my dad died, if he kind of sent us a farewell message. And we had, my dad died in 2012, and we had a memorial service for him. And so a lot of people came. It was a really nice memorial, and he was cremated, so it's a memorial. It's not a funeral.
Right.
So we had the memorial service, and this was out in the desert, but a really nice cemetery and a mausoleum place or whatever. And it was, and afterwards we went to my sister's house, and my sister's house is really just a few miles away from where his service was at, and I remember, like, even though we had the ashes, because I had his ashes with us.
Yeah.
But that night, all of a sudden, this storm, it broke out just right above, because where the cemetery is, it's like there's like a mountain right behind it, and all of a sudden, I've lived in the desert my whole entire life, right? And I've never seen anything like this. Right over where that cemetery is, and where it's like a mountain type of thing, there was the most dramatic lightning storm I've ever seen. It was all in one spot, and it was right over the cemetery. and it just went on, and it was so much that all of us ran out of the house and to the backyard to watch it.
Yeah.
And our next door neighbors, who we didn't know, we didn't know them. My sister's next door neighbors. All of a sudden, they started cranking up Pavarotti, the opera singer, which was like
Yeah.
my dad. It was my dad's favorite artist, and so this guy had that music cranking, and it was beautiful, and it was like this lightning storm was coming down right over where we had just had the memorial service. Like, I mean, and it was all in one spot. Like usually lightning is over here and it's over there and it's over
Right.
there. This was all in one spot right there for like 20 minutes. And it was playing perfectly with the music. It was almost like it was planned with the music because it was like this big
Right.
opera thing. And we were just like in tears. We're just standing out there, me and my sister and my brother, and we just were like, what is happening right now? And I go, that's Dad. He's saying goodbye.
Yeah.
And my dad was awesome, and so it's like he had to go out with a big bang,
Yeah. In the blaze of glory.
Yeah,
Is that what
yeah.
they say?
It was really awesome, and I still remember that to this day. Like that lightning. This was like big bolts of lightning. It was like kind of like golden lightning. It was really weird and really, like I said, I've lived in the desert. I'm 65. I've lived in the desert for 63 years of my 65 years or whatever. I never saw anything like that. Never. Where it was this 20-minute just bolts of lightning coming down all in one spot, in one little area like that. It was amazing. So I don't know if I don't know if that was a supernatural thing or what, but it sure was fitting for that day.
Yeah. And they'll give you their final goodbyes. Oh, there you go, Jolie. I just want to, for anybody who's not keeping up with the chats, I just want to read Jolie's. So Jolie said, what is a black figure? There's one here I see, very solid, black. Light doesn't pass through it. It doesn't feel evil. Actually, I get zero energy from it. So I told her most likely, like we were talking about it before, it's a residual energy that is playing like a recorder. It's just energy that's caught. And I asked her, because a lot of times those residuals happen when there's a lot of limestone around, because limestone holds in energy. And she said there's a limestone quarry across the street from there.
Oh, wow.
And so, yeah, see, I asked her, is there, you'll see, I said, Jolie, residual energy probably, is there a lot of limestone there? So limestone will hold in energy, and it will replay, like it will get trapped.
Wow.
The energy will get trapped there, and it just replays. That spirit's not there. It's not paying no, never mind to you. That recorder is going to keep playing that black energy regardless whether you're there or not. That's wild. Yeah. So
That
there you
is.
go. Just some information for you guys. But I knew it. I was like, she must be next to some limestone that's like really holding in the residual energy to get that kind that you could see it like that. And that's what it is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing because you didn't know there was a limestone.
Right. I don't know where she lives, Jolie. I just met her in your chat, right? I say hello. I don't know where she lives. I don't know anything about it. All I knew was sounds like residual. She must live next. There must be limestone somewhere.
Wow. Yeah.
Yep. So I might make John a believer, and he might talk about paranormal now on his show.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
You never know what's going to come up.
Well, that's true. We do talk about a lot of stuff in your chat, but now I know Jolie's a spirit lover, so I can open that up in your chat a little with her.
Yeah.
John's gonna be like, I'm mid-thread. I don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna skip this one. I don't know what they're talking about.
I don't know. Yep.
Wow. Yeah, there's so many interesting things that could probably talk forever on this stuff. It's just,
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm needle dropping here. Yep. We're needle dropping. But while we have John up here, for anybody who doesn't normally come to John's show, there are 12 of you still hanging out with us. Thank you, because we haven't really been reading the chat. We've been so in what's the word, enthralled, I don't know. We were so into our conversation we almost forgot about you guys. So is there any questions for John that I can that you want to ask? Please ask it now so John can answer any question you might have had that we missed. There we go. Massive blocks of limestone all down our road. Yeah, you're gonna get a lot of stuff. You're in the buff again.
did you ever hear about on the Tesla cars? I guess Elon Musk thought he was funny, so he made it so that supposedly that if you were in a cemetery in a Tesla, that on the like on the screen, because like when you're driving, it shows these little images like of a car. It'll show a car or it'll show people
Oh, right,
walking.
because yeah, like
And
I think all electric cars do that, because there was another, because even the electric cars that are in Tesla, like they have those screens and you can see on the screen, like I was like, holy crap, are you driving with the screen? Like when I first
yeah,
saw it, the Uber driver have it. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit?
but supposedly I guess a rumor or something had gone around that if you parked in a cemetery, that on the screen you would see people walking on the screen, but even though if you looked out the window, there was nobody there.
Oh
And
yeah.
so I went to a cemetery in a test because I was driving a Tesla for a while, and I went to a cemetery and it never did work for me. So I don't know, but
Right.
I guess that was a false rumor. But
It was a false rumor, or somebody went there and just so happened he saw a whole bunch of people because he was meant to see a whole bunch of
but
people. Like,
it was only showing up on the screen as a digital image. He wasn't seeing the
right.
actual
Because hey, Adam, the reason why I told you, remember that spirits move really fast and
Oh yeah.
your eyes don't catch them, but the camera like will catch them. And sometimes it's funny because I'll be watching it, and even on the camera, it's so fast that it looks like something flew by, and you go, "What was that?" And you slow it down, and it's like, "Hi," and you're like, "What the fuck?" Okay,
Okay.
I caught this green mist, right? And this
Hey,
green mist went flying. It went flying, and then it like stood up, and it looked like Dracula. I couldn't see that with my eyes. The camera, when I slowed it down and then I screenshotted it and I enhanced it so I could see the picture, I was like, that shit's Dracula. Holy cow. I mean, it was just a spirit in the way the camera caught it and how it looked, because I had a cloak on. It looked like fucking Dracula, right? But I was like, this green mist flew and turned into, it was manifesting. That person was manifesting, and this is how I caught it. But I was still walking because I didn't see it with my eyes. And that's another thing that's really shitty when you're filming, is that you can't stand in one place forever, right? Just standing there. Hey, can you show yourself on my camera? I'm just going to stay here for 5 hours. No, you want to walk around, right? See where the things are. But the thing is, as you're walking and they're walking, you're getting like, sometimes you get like, that's why when people say, oh, look how bad the film is on that. Yeah, because we're walking. Because we didn't stop. Because we couldn't see this fucker. It was going so fast. That's why you have to slow it down, because it was fast. So, of course, it's going to be grainy. Because I'm walking and it's walking. So,
right.
I mean, so people don't understand. They're like, why is the film always grainy of like, Bigfoot? Well, half the Bigfoot are deceased. So what's gonna happen is their spirits. So when you might see them, but when you're filming it, that shit is residual or spirit or whatever. You're not gonna. It's not gonna be good. You know, I try
So
to
the big
explain.
so Bigfoot is like a spirit.
I think most of them are deceased now. I've crossed
Uh,
a whole bunch of big feet.
really?
We'll call them big feet if it's plural. I don't know.
Yeah.
Bigfoot. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what the plural is.
The big
But
futon.
yeah, a few of them have come, and I'm like, and I get animals. I get all sorts of animals, but you could tell they were exactly like what Bigfoot looked like, and I was like, wow. And then they brought like oh, my friend told me to come, like kind of thing. They tell you telepathically because of course they don't speak English, by the way. But you know, like, oh, my friend sent me, you know. And I'm like, but you don't look the same as the other one did. There's different species of them too. I've come across 3 so far, and I'm like, what the okay. But I think most of them lived when we weren't here, you know. But that's, you know,
Yeah.
and this is my theory because I've crossed them. I don't know if they're still living ones, but I don't think so. I think it was a species that is extinct now.
Yeah. That's why they can't find any.
Like the dinosaur, you know?
Or, yeah.
And these things that they're seeing is just like you see a ghost. People do see ghosts. The people who see them are seeing ghosts and they just don't realize it.
So could a spirit
So,
be from anywhere on the planet that would
yeah.
come to you? Because they can just zip around real easy, I guess. Like.
Yeah, because like I said, if they leave, if I'm watching something and they made an energy print on that, like, let's say I'm watching House Sparks live stream and I'm typing in the chat and somebody types back to me something, right? I might not even know that person. I've seen them for the first time. A spirit can see that, you know, because they're looking over my shoulder now. They're reading the chat actually. So you'll see that you know, one of them will come and be like, oh, hey, I'm from this one's house. You cross over a spirit, your spirit guide said. I go, how the freak, you know? But they could talk to each other through the device. Spirits could do that shit. So they're talking to each other, my spirit guide and this spirit, and yeah, come here. She crosses spirits. Yeah, well, good. So, but I don't mind because that's, you know, I would want somebody to help my mother if she was stuck, you know? So, somebody asked me, did you make money doing that? I go, do you think, like, let's say I was on Trucker John's live stream and Jolie, let's say, knock on wood, you know, she had a great great grandmother that's deceased, which probably that makes sense, right? Her great great grandmother is deceased. And the great great grandmother comes to my house and goes, hey, can you cross me? I'm Jolie's great 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 grandmother. And I'm gonna be like, well, wait, I have to call Jolie and ask her to pay. Like, what the fuck? No, I don't get paid. It's a courtesy. I do it out of the goodness of my heart because I do unto others what you want others to do to you. And my sister's like, how come you're always helping the spirits and you don't help regular people? I said, they are regular people. What the fuck are you talking about? That's your mother. That's your father. That's your grandmother. And she's like, you know what I mean? Living people. I'm like, because there's plenty of people to help living people. How many people help dead people?
Right.
And now, and that's another thing. You've talked to me now, right? You know me. We talk to each other, right? Knock on wood, like I said. In 100 years from now, if you pass before I do, and you miss your light and you can't cross, you know exactly where to find me because it's in your head. Oh, I'm going to that New York chick now, right? Because she crosses over spirits. I was, you know, not friends because I didn't know them that well, but we just would talk in chats or whatever. They passed away about a month later like, hey, I'm Dave, you know me. And I was like, holy cow, from that? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, holy cow. He knew my energy. He knew I crossed over spirits. We had come across each other in a chat. He passed away, came to my house. It's like,
Wow.
I missed the light. They don't give you a warning. Like, it stays open a certain amount of time, but I was saying goodbye to my wife longer than whatever, and I missed it.
Wow.
Yeah. So that happens too, where it's just like, okay. So I would say since he came like a month and a half after he passed, I would say like it's open about a month, 3 weeks to a month, your light. And then like the gate is open with a gatekeeper that's on the other side, not a live gatekeeper. And they're waiting for you. Come on now. But like I said, there's not enough of them for all the people and they can't keep portals open all over. So they close it. So he took too long. He missed it. It closed. He was like, oh shit. And then they have to find someone like me.
Wow.
But now you know me, right? So God forbid, like in 100 years, when you're 150, you decide you're gonna drop dead. And maybe I'm 125 or something. You're gonna be like, hey, you remember me? I need to cross you. You need to cross me because I've missed my damn light. So yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to remember that.
Jeff. Yeah. And there's like like my boyfriend has a grove where it's blessed because he's um, I can never say it. He's a shaman, but he's also who does the groves are druids. Okay, so he's like a nature druid. So he's very big into nature. So he made a grove. It's blessed and it has a keeper. And if a spirit who's near him loses their way and they're passing by, they can go through the grove and it's automatically, that guardian who it has will cross them. They just stay there and cross people. They go through the grove. So, yeah. I was like, damn, I should make a grove so I don't have to waste so much energy. But then I'm like, no, this is probably my job. I don't know. I don't know. But it just sounds so much easier to make a grove. Right?
Yeah.
But I think you have to be like a druid or something to make this thing to call, whatever. I don't do all that. I just open a gate, at a time, It's basically my spirit guide and I, and the best way I could always describe it is my spirit guide and I basically we're like, okay, we're going to cross you. And I turn on the white noise basically, and I'm like, okay, we're gonna turn on the white noise, we're gonna contact the other side. Basically my spirit guide, I'm lending my energy to the spirit guide who goes knocks on the door and is like, hey, we have some crossover. And they open the light, basically the gate, and they go into the waiting room, and that's it. But because people always ask me, how does it work? I'm like, I work with my guide to give them energy to guide them so they could knock on the door, and the gatekeeper on the other side opens the door and it's like, hey, how you doing? How many you have this time? Yeah, okay. That's what happens. Well, I had the white noise on one time and I was doing, like I said, I think it was like, I don't know, 15,000 that time by myself. Because the last time I had did the 21, but I was doing it because I had my friend too there. And we, so it was both of us. So two energy is better than one, right? But anyway, I did like 15 or 17 by myself. And I heard through the white noise. Now you'll hear EVPs like on these spirit boxes and stuff. They sound a certain kind of way. This way, the way it echoed and how it sounded, you just knew it was from beyond the veil. Like it was so different than anything I heard, and it was like too many people. And I was like, "Well, sorry." What the fuck? But that's also when I said, because I'm like, oh, I'm pissing off the other side, giving them so many to do at one time. Plus, I'm damn exhausted. I said no. So now I have a little sign on my door, and it's like 500 max per crossover. We're not doing more than 500 each time. Wait online or, come back tomorrow, whatever. Here's the days we do it. Bye. And that's it.
And they follow orders, huh?
Um, no, but when you're gonna, because this is a courtesy. I say it's a courtesy.
Uh-huh.
I do it as a courtesy. I don't need to do this shit. I could tell you, go fuck yourself, go to the cemetery and wait for the crossroads guy to come. I don't do that. That's rude, first of all. And like I said, they don't like to do that. Jolie, thank you so much. Thank you, Jolie.
There's Julie coming through.
um so I don't do that, I do it as a courtesy. So
Yeah.
so they'll wait, they've been waiting, some of them, since 1920. You think one more day to wait till the next day is gonna, they're
Right.
fine. They're fine, because you're waiting till the next, like I said, some of them are here since, shit, one was like 1889 or something. So when you're a spirit that long and you decide, okay, it's finally time to go now. I met enough people who went and came back, and obviously it's cool. So, like, how could I do this? And they find me, and I tell them, okay, tomorrow, because I have too many today, or today's my day off. Can you just wait till tomorrow? Have some coffee. I always put out coffee, fresh coffee. Every time I have coffee, I give them coffee. Um, every time I eat a little something, I give them a little food, have some food. Tonight we're going to watch a show, and then that's it. Tomorrow we'll do it, And when you waited this long, it's not like you don't have a choice not to wait for me till tomorrow.
So they can eat and drink and stuff?
Everybody asked me that. I put it out because they take energy from the food. Especially if you leave like orange and stuff, they take the energy out of it. I don't think they could taste it, but they take the energy out of it. And because you'll hear people who deal with spirits be like, oh, you can borrow my energy. No. You cannot borrow my energy. Okay. I leave you food for energy. I'll light a candle. You could use my phone because I have a plug, but you damn ain't using my energy because I need it. I don't give permission to anybody to use my energy. Like my spirit guide and I will swap energies kind of when we're doing telepathic stuff or whatever. You're going to use your energy, but it's because I'm channeling them to ask them something. So yeah, we're going to, do that. I'm going to use my energy, but not technically, they're not sucking it out of me. I'm using it because I'm doing something. Just like if you're lifting a bag off the floor, you're using energy, right? But you can't take it from me. No. So I always leave them food and stuff. So if they need energy to talk to me, to be able to cross, because some of them are weak, that don't understand, and they have to come across other spirits that be like, eat something. And he's like, can you eat? And they're like, yeah, you take the energy, and they'll show them because they don't understand, right? They don't know. They haven't been dead that long. They've been somewhere where there's no other spirits, which is, I don't know where, in a basement somewhere, that they think they can't leave, because it's whatever you have in your head. Like I said, if you think you died at your house by yourself, that you have to just sit there forever, then you're just gonna sit there forever, because that's what you have in your head. You'll be like, oh well, this is what it is. I'm gonna just haunt this house. Anybody who moves in and touches my stuff, because you've seen it on TV and that's what you think, you know? There
Right.
was another lady who her husband wouldn't let her out of the house because he was a jealous, crazy person. She's from the 1800s too, or really early 1900s. She would not, when she died, she wouldn't leave the house either. Stayed up and down, and people would see her and they would write stories about that place. The lady in brown, she's always up and down the stairs and shit. Yeah, because her husband wouldn't let her leave the house, and now all she does is walk up and down the fucking stairs in the house because she don't know any better. So I felt bad. So I sent my spirit guide. I think it's in Ireland, or it's either Ireland or Scotland. It's somewhere. She's not close to me. And I said, can somebody go and ask that lady if she wants to cross? Why is she there? The poor thing. Like, you know. And I will ask my spirit guide, one of my spirit guides, to go and see, you know. And sometimes they'll come back and say, oh, you know, she really likes it there. She just wants to stay there. Or she don't want to leave the house. It's going to take a long time to goad her. We'll go back and forth every once in a while to see if we could help her because she doesn't want to. And I can't talk to her because I'm all the way over here. I'm not in Scotland, you know.
Right.
So sometimes those kind of things happen too, where people just, yeah, the poor lady, she did just, her husband wouldn't leave her the house, and now even in death, she won't leave the fucking house. So that's what
Wow.
happened.
Hmm.
So you can't make this shit up. Like, you just can't. Like,
There are
oh,
so
good for
many.
you! Woohoo!
Who was that?
That's Twisted Nerves. They just
Oh,
finished an 80-hour project.
wow.
I used to live in a house that had a spirit that would always shut the TV off at the scariest part of the movie. That would be me as a spirit. I don't know if it didn't like it or it was just trying to be funny and scare me more. No, that would be me. The kids laugh at me because I don't like scary movies, but I forgot what I put on for them. And I was like, we were watching. Sometimes they'll be like, pick this one when I'm going down the list. And I'm like, are you sure? Maybe that one's scary. They're like, no, no, that one. Okay. So I'll play it. And something that I think is going to be scary, like all of a sudden I'll get the idea that there's going to be a jump scare or I hate blood. And I'll be like, oh my God. And the fucking little spirits are laughing their ass off at me. And I can imagine if I sit down at your house, Jolie, to be like, well, I'm going to watch a movie with Jolie if I pass first. And you had some scary saw on. I'd be like, no, this bitch, don't put this shit on. If I could figure out how to turn off that TV, hell yeah, that's what I'd be doing. Sorry, it would be. A
Yeah,
house we
remember that movie?
did Halloween thing in 3 stories. I would love to bring that back. Ooh, Halloween, 3 stories for Halloween. That would be nice.
Am I not seeing the whole chat? Let's see. Who said that?
I would never invite a spirit to take energy because what if they're malice? It would be dangerous. You're right, Autumn, it would be. And I'm sorry you're not feeling well to sleep, honey. Damn, it must be like 5 in the morning where you are, Autumn. She's in the UK. So,
Oh, yeah.
yes. I just went a little back and Jeff was saying a house. We did Halloween thing in 3 stories. I would love to bring it back. Yeah. I just started from where right after Jolie posted the $10, so I can kind of just get an idea where we are. I'm gonna grab a cigarette.
Alrighty.
Because I sat here this whole time talking to you, and I was like, damn, I didn't have that one cigarette. Go, girl. But now I'm like, it's about time. Hold on.
Smoke them if you got them. Smoke break. By the way, Dodgers won tonight.
Good for you, Dodgers! Yay! I would say good for the Dodgers, but I don't know them, so I'll just say good for your Dodgers. Good for you. Okay.
So
Sorry.
do you see extra activity during Halloween time? Or does it matter?
Nah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It makes never like people ask me, what's the most haunted place you ever been to? They always ask that question, and I'm like, my house on crossover day. Where the fuck? One day there was 21,000 spirits. Where the fuck you gonna find 21,000 spirits in one fucking place besides my house? Huh? There ain't never been no place more haunted than my house on crossover day. I don't care what you, even at 500, it's more spirits than you're ever gonna find in one place, except maybe a battlefield where nobody crossed over and they're all sitting there replaying the battle over and over. You know, like there's no other place you're gonna find.
Wow,
You know.
21,000. That's crazy.
Yeah. But like I said, I did that with a cooperative with a friend, so it was a little better, but it gets your energy gets nuts when you do those kinds of things. So I remember, calling my boyfriend, and like I said, he's in Canada, so I called him on Messenger, and I'm like, hey, and he's like, what the fuck is wrong with your energy? And I'm like, I'm tired because we did, you know, we're doing so many crossovers. There's a lot of people, and the kids, they're cranky. They don't want to go out for a ghost hunt. And he's like, of course it don't. If you don't have any energy, what the fuck makes you think they do? I say kids because my spirit guides are 7 and 8, by the way. Like the ones that we do the most work with. So I have more, but Sarah's been, I know, I have the biggest connection with Sarah, and then Billy and Vicky. They're all little. Vicky's, oh my gosh, what are you, 5, honey? Oh yeah. So she wants to learn how to be a spirit guide, so she's helping with the crossovers for Vicky. Anyway, so obviously, maybe you can be a spirit guide, and I think that's why a lot of people don't get reincarnated, because your job is to go be and people want to go be spirit guides. And this little one's like, oh, I want to be a spirit guide. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, well, how can we help? I don't know. And they're like, oh, let her help with the crossovers. And I said, okay.
So like you just now, you like talked to her. Is she right there, or what? How does that work?
Okay, so when you're doing this long enough, you can kind of place energy. You can't see them unless they want you to. But when I mentioned her name, I saw her in my head, and I saw that part of my kitchen. So I knew where I would look to find her, because I saw it in my head that she was standing there. Like, oh, you're talking about me, basically. And that's why I looked there, because in my head, I saw that she was standing there. So I looked. If they zing you, then you know where they are. Or sometimes, like, all of a sudden, I'll feel something, and I'm like, are you standing behind me? Who's that? Like, and then they'll tell me, but because I feel an energy, the energy is strong. Some of them have strong energy, so I'll just feel them. I'm like, why are you on top of me? I have one Jack. He'll tap me on the head sometimes just to let, to fuck with me, like, be like, poop. I'm like, Jack. I'm like, you're the only one who could do that, Jack. Don't be letting everybody tap me on the head. Sometimes I'll feel a little hand on my leg, and I'm like, oh, what do you want to come up and see what I'm doing? Like, I don't know. They didn't say anything to me, but because I felt the little hand, I'm like, do you want to come up and see what I'm doing? I'll tell you the funniest story, guys. Probably that ever happened to me doing this now for like 10 years, okay? I was talking to my boyfriend on Messenger, And I'm like, you know what's funny? I said, more and more now, when these children come to pass, they'll be holding something, a teddy bear, a car. Like they kept like the energy of their toy with them, you know? And then one of the kids were like, "Oh, let me show him my doll." I'm like, "Okay, come up on my lap and show him the doll." So this one comes, shows the doll. Then it was like a parade, right? And all I'm seeing in my head are these kids one by one getting on my lap, showing, getting off. This one kid jumps up and goes, "Look at this." And my boyfriend goes, "Oh, what a nice, what is that? Like a fire truck?" And I see the kid in my head and I go, "Who are you?" That's all I said to this kid was, "Who are you? I don't remember you being here." And he's like, "I came to visit from Tina's house. You know Tina with the wolves?" I'm like, "Yeah." I go, "Oh, okay. I'm playing with the kids today." I'm like, "Oh, okay. That's her damn spirit guide. He came over to play like it's one of her. I was like, "Oh, okay." He came over to play. He bought his truck. I didn't know who the fuck he was. Like, who are you? That was the funniest thing. That even my boyfriend started laughing his ass off. He's like, "You don't even know how." You're like, I go, "Listen, I have like 75, but it just so happened he most certainly did not look familiar. I didn't know his energy. As soon as I saw I'm like, who is this kid?" Like, you know, it happens. He was just visiting. That happens too, where if other people have kids spirit guides, all of a sudden, like, one time one of them was like, "Can I invite this one over to play?" And I'm like, "Well, who's that?" And they're like, "He lives he stay." They don't say he lives, they say he stays at the house next to your aunt's. I'm like, "Oh, he's Tommy." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, tell Tommy to come play." I don't give a shit. Yeah, he could come over and play. He could stay if he wants. I don't care. But if he's staying there, maybe he's with his family, and just want to come play. Yeah, I don't care.
Right.
So
Wow.
yeah, it happens sometimes. But that was the funniest because and I had no problem saying, "Who the hell are you?" He was probably like, "Oh, I came from Tina's house." Like, oh, like if I was supposed to know that, but I didn't. I was just like, "Who the hell is this kid?" Yeah, but that's why because it's just been getting stronger and stronger as I've been doing it and learning and this um my family, I don't know, I said something to, I don't know, my sister or something. My sister told my daughter called the state on me, telling them that I was fucking crazy. And I have this guy at my door being like, "Do you see things that I don't?" And I'm like, and he pointed like to his eyes, like he goes, "Do you see things that I don't?" And I'm like, "No, I don't see anything that you don't. What are you seeing?" I said, "Let me ask you what you're seeing, because I don't, are you weird or something?" Because technically, I don't see anything with my eyes. I see it in my third eye. It's a image in my head, and I'm sure you get these, John, and this would be your spirit guide kind of giving you a message. Did you ever kind of see something, get like this feeling, like, and see something in your head, like, if I do that, it's going to be bad? Like, you just know, and you're like, "No, I'm not going to do that." Did you ever have that? Like, yeah, that's your guide giving
Sure.
you, like, "Oh, no, that's not a fucking guide. You better not do that, John." you know? All that stuff. Like, people are like, "Oh, I had this feeling." That's your guides telling you. And it's not, you're not seeing them, you're not hearing them. You can feel it. It's an energy that like, "No, I'm not doing that. It's a bad idea." So,
So can anybody like see their spirit guide, like, or is it just certain people who have
no,
a gift for it?
you can totally talk to your spirit guide. If you really said, "You know what? I want to try to get more spiritual. I want to try to understand things. I really want to talk to my guide." Um, start with, and you don't need anything fancy. I always tell people, look, I have this necklace, right? I made it. I made this necklace. It has something dangly, but try to have a metal like silver or copper or platinum or gold. Have a metal, hang something off of it. Okay. So now can you swing the other way for me, up and down for no? And you can really, I mean, Sarah and I have been doing this a long time, so yes, she's saying yes. So yes is circles, and what's no again? Can you go back to no? And no is this way. When you do it over and over, you're going to get to know the energy. It's going to go faster. You can grab anything, but here's what you have to do when you grab anything. First, cleanse it with like some smoke or put it out in the moonlight or whatever you want to do to cleanse it. Say, I'm cleansing this and I only want to talk to my guide, because you don't want to because people, and you know where I get the most spirits to cross from? I'll tell you, John, the supermarket. They wait there at the supermarket because they know there's tons of people there. I don't know how many that I started shopping on Amazon Fresh now, because I very rare, because the fucking supermarket, they'll fucking bother the shit out of you at the supermarket. So they will follow you. And then you don't know who you're talking to. So you pick something you want to use. And I tell you, it could be literally anything. It doesn't have to be an actual pendulum. But metal is the best conductor. So definitely have whatever you hang it off of, metal, not a string. Because you need to conduct the energy. So like I said, you know, I make my own pendulums. So I have lots of pretty ones, you know, but you don't need it as long as it's metal where you can conduct energy from the metal. Then it would work, and you just start practicing, and it takes a little bit of work and a real steady hand. So maybe you want to brace yourself on your table first to try to see if you can, you know, it will move for you, braced on the table where you know you're not making any sudden moves if you're shaky or whatever. Brace yourself and and just start working with your guide, and they will work. That's what they're there for. Most people couldn't care less and don't try to talk to them, so they don't bother you. They just do those little things like your intuition. You get that gut, like butterflies or some shit. That's all you're seeing. Repetitive numbers in your head, like, shit, all I'm seeing is threes this week. Why? Well, look up and see what three means spiritually, what the meaning of three is spiritually, so you know. You're seeing an owl, like all of a sudden out of the blue, you've seen 4 owls. Well, look up what an owl spirit animal is, so let's say it's for patience or something. Well, then it's trying to give you patience because you need it for whatever you're going through. So there's a lot of different ways your guides and things help you without you even realizing it. But because people going about their every day, they're not doing what I do, right? But if you want to, you can. They will talk to you. Christina, have you ever had any Bayans saying they came from me to you? Oh, I've had a few that say Lilith brought them, so I know that they came from you. Yeah, because I'm like, where'd you come from? And they're like, oh, Lilith dropped me off. And then I know, because Lilith's your spirit guide. I know her. Sometimes they'll say, oh, a spirit guide, and they'll give me a name. And I said, I don't know that spirit guide. And they're like, oh, it's somebody you know has that spirit guide. But since I didn't read for them, I don't know who's that guide is. So like if Jolie's guide, let's say I never read for Jolie, and Jolie's guide is named Sophie, let's say. Thank you. Your guide's named Sophie because they decided to tell me. I was going to just make a name up, and then all I heard was Sophie. So I'm assuming your guide's name is Sophie. So anyway, if all of a sudden now I'll try to remember. But if all of a sudden, like, somebody's like, "Oh, Sophie told, brought me," I'll be like, "Sophie, who the hell's Sophie?" They're like, "Oh, your friend's spirit guide." I'm like, "What?" Like, who? Um, and then but then I'll be like, "Oh, okay, that Sophie is Jolie, spirit guide came across somebody, and this is what they do." Because the spirit guides love helping other spirits, okay? They don't only help you, they like helping other spirits. And so when they come across a kid or something that needs help, they bring them here if they know me, right? So Jolie was walking in the supermarket. The spirit guide sees this. Sophie sees some little kid that needs help. She's like, "Oh, you come with me. I'm going to bring you over there. You're going to play games with the kids, whatever, and you can cross over if you want." And Sophie's going to drop, the kiddo here. And that's what happened. That what happened. So, yeah, Lilith does drop people off. Because Jolie obviously doesn't cross over spirits, but now her spirit guide sees this little kid and just can't leave this kid, so they bring him here. They usually run. Jolie, for those types, I just dropped my spirit guide's name or one of my deities. Yeah. Jackie, I had a lady at the gym come up to me and tell me she was moved to pray for me and my bloodline. What the hell? Totally creeped me out. Well, some people are just like, there's so many things that go into this, but like, I'll tell you, sometimes, let's say way back in the day, one of your family members did something so horrific that the upstairs goes, "I'm done with all you fuckers." And so it's like your bloodline is like tainted. So you can't cross over because it's tainted your bloodline, right? I had only one little baby that passed away. Like little, he's 2. And like this guy comes to me and goes, "I have this problem." And all I see is that he's holding like this mushy thing. And I go, "Are you holding a teddy bear?" Like I couldn't see because the bloodline was tainted and I couldn't see that he was holding a child. And he's like, "No, it's a little one, but I can't cross with him because he can't cross." And I'm like, "Oh, is it good?" And he's like, "Yeah, he's fine, but his bloodline's tainted." And I'm like, "So the 2-year-old didn't do anything?" He's like, "No, he's 2." And I'm like, "Okay, leave him here. We'll hang out with him. We'll take care of him. We'll do whatever." And as he's been here playing and doing and with the kids and whatever, I can see him more and more now. And one of my older ones, who's I think she's 19, she really take a liking. So she's like, "Mama, it's fine, whatever." But these things happen. Although I don't know if that's the case with you, but there are such things as tainted bloodline when it comes to the spiritual realm. Obviously, I did not know this until he brought me this baby, and the way I was like, "What the frick are you holding him? What is your problem? What's going on?" Like I couldn't understand. But these things happen. But it's basically like now that baby crossover because we showed it all love and this and that, and it kind of like untainted the baby. I don't know if I'm sure the rest of the bloodline isn't untainted, but we untainted like the baby, but now of course she doesn't want to let the little one go, but and the little one doesn't want to go because he wants to stay with her. Fine. It's fine. Whatever. I always tell them, when I die, we're all going to go through the grove. Well, I'm not, because I'm going to go travel a little bit. Whoever wants to travel with me can. And then we'll go through the grove because we know where it is, right? But, but I already made. I have a bucket list for when I die, guys. I don't. Am I the only one? There's all these places I want to see. I can't afford. I'm poor to go to these places. When I have a bucket list. When I die, I'm going. People have a bucket list to do when they're alive. I have one to do when I'm deceased.
Might as well.
Yeah,
It's like free airfare, you know.
yeah, yeah.
No.
Basically, because all you have to do is think. Like it's kind of like you're going like teleporting, right? So you go, oh, I want to go see the pyramids. And you think, and you're gonna go see the pyramids. I want to go see the Eiffel Tower. You put it in your head. You're at the Eiffel Tower. Like now they say like there are some beings that can fly like around, but I think for regular spirits, how they described it's kind of like just teleporting there. So
Wow.
you know, it's like you think about it, and you're gonna go there because you know where it is, right? The only time it becomes tricky is if you don't know or you can't visualize it. Like you can't go where you don't know, right?
Right.
so so that's why I started having pictures. Okay, if I want to go to the pyramids, I have to have a picture of it. I want to go to Greece, I have to have at least one picture of Greece in my head, right? Want to go to Italy, so I picked like things where I know I could do. And then I picked that picture of what I'm going to look like because this is what's going to happen. And that's it. That's how we're going. And like the doctor was like yelling at me about smoking or whatever, and nobody wants to die, only crazy people. I'm like, really? Only crazy people want to keep living. Okay, I'm not gonna kill myself, but I'm not gonna be upset when I die because I have plenty of shit to do. So you say what you want. I felt like telling him, but I don't have any problem dying. Okay,
Right.
the only
Right.
people that have problems dying are, I don't know, people that don't know what's on the other side, that are afraid and don't want to go, or that did something bad, and they think, they believe in the Bible and stuff, and that's another thing. You don't know how many people did something bad and they didn't cross over because they're afraid to go to hell, because they think it's like what the Bible's telling them. And like, oh
Right.
my God. And I'm like, it's like being in jail. I go, look, if you do something bad, you got to go to jail. Like, you do something just a little bad, you have to go to detention before you can go out, right? I mean, it's just common sense. This is not horrid stuff that's going on. Like, it just is what it is. You got to go to jail, you got to go to detention, or you go to you go straight to the fancy hotel because you were good. Like, it just depends. But
Yeah. Wow. Well, this has been pretty fascinating.
psychic, yeah, yes.
All this stuff. I don't. I don't.
Imagine a golden glowing orb expand. Yes, when you want to cover yourself. Autumn's telling them how to protect themselves in the chat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's plenty of things like if you wanna, you got to turn yourself off to some things too. Like, um, a lot of people, like I have a special word that I worked on, and this is all intentions, guys. But because I cross over spirits, I don't ever close myself off completely because I want them to be able to find me if they really need to cross, especially the kids or something. So I have like a special words I use for when I go out so that only bad things, like I have a cloaking so bad things can't see me, that I'm like in a fog to them. But I'm open to everything else, so
So
there's
how do you learn about all this stuff? You know.
um most of it's from reading. Other is from I started talking to the spirit guides, and believe it or not, a lot the most knowledgeable people on this are really like real actual shamans, and you need a certain thing. You can't take an online course I'm like what they say, you can't take an online course and be like a shaman or whatever. It's through like you have to have like a person teach you that was from the original whatever. So anyway, those kind of people know a lot about spiritual stuff, like how to protect yourself and stuff like that. But like basic kind of things, I would ask my guide. And I told you the easiest way is I started with that damn pendulum and the alphabet, because if it wasn't a yes or no question, like I showed you, you can ask yes or no questions, but you can't get like names. You're not going to hear them right away. It takes years. I've been 10 years doing this now before I could actually write a whole damn message, you know? And that's because I think I had to upgrade and get an oracle to translate some of it, you know, like all this stuff. There are real oracles in the spirit world too, but you know, I can't tell you everything in one day. But anyway, so like takes a long time, but you can communicate with your guide doing the simplest thing. I actually have a video like learning, you know, if you're just starting to talk to your guide, all these things. So, yep. I was in a bubble. Yeah. Pretty sure it was acid. You're so silly, Jolie. So I know it has been 3 hours and 30 minutes. Guys, I appreciate you guys so much. I appreciate you coming on, John, and I hope you will join us again one day.
For sure. Absolutely.
Oh yeah. We loved it. So just so you guys know that John's as you see pinned up there is, if you do not know John, go check him out. Just like you're chatting in my chat, you'll chat in his chat and he'll answer you and read them all. I do read them usually, but today I got so intrigued I didn't read. I wasn't really paying attention. I don't know what happened. Some ADHD kicked in or something. But anyway, yeah, so we really appreciate you coming up here. And I appreciate everyone who came and hung out with us and talked to each other. Thank you for keeping each other busy in the chat. We appreciate you. Thank you so much, Jolie, to the for the super chat. And if you guys want to get a reading, come back. Wednesday I'll be live, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, do readings. And next Thursday, I think no shirt, Christine. Yeah. Next Thursday we'll probably play games or something if we don't have an interview. So come for game night. A lot of people like that. And that'll be at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Pray for everyone who, if you pray, if not, just send good vibes to all the sick people. And happy thoughts, guys. John, do you want to say anything about your channel or anything before we go?
Just had a great time. Yeah, I'll be on again tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific time. So right here, it's that for you. That would be what 2 p.m. I think.
2 p.m.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll be on it tomorrow, and hope to see everybody there, and we'll hang out and chat. And I might have to do some needle dropping at some point, but you know.
Yes, some needle dropping, and then we'll be in the midst of the crazy conversations. But I hope to see you guys tomorrow at Trucker John's. I might not see you guys tomorrow because I have an MRI schedule, but I'm usually there in John's all the time. If I'm finished with my MRI by 2, I will be sneaking in there, and if not, then I will see you Saturday. Saturday, still at 2 p.m., I believe.
Yeah, right. Usually right after Hal Sparks.
Hal Sparks.
Whenever he's done, then I'll come on. I'll come on. But yeah, I hope to see you then. And yeah, hope we get together again. I thought this was really great.
Oh yeah, and then one day when you figure out how to use the StreamYards on yours, I'll come on and read the chat to you, and then we can be up to date because we'll take half of that, and we'll sit there and read it. We'll be on time because he's gonna read half, and I'm gonna read half.
We'll be 28 minutes behind.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
I'm gonna put on the outro, guys. Thank you so much. Anybody who joined from John's channel, thank you so much for coming. Oh, Maria, it's Marie. It's okay. You can watch it back. It will be up there for you to watch back. It's nice of you to come in. And I hope you guys consider subscribing. If you didn't, anybody from John's, we would appreciate you. Just to subscribe, doesn't cost anything. And hit that thumbs up and maybe even hype the videos that are there. We appreciate you. Have a good night, everyone. And we'll see you somewhere on the tubes at some point. At some point this week, we will see you.
Bye-bye.
Remember, please discard all candy wrappers and popcorn containers in the nearest trash receptacle. Thank you. We are so glad you came. Okay, bye-bye now. Bye-bye. Bye. Is everyone gone? Huh? Good. Oh my gosh, my cheeks are killing me. I can't keep smiling like this anymore. I'm exhausted. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.